the kind of conversations about like costumes, I don't even know what I'm supposed to contribute to those. It's like, I don't know. Like I don't know, like the difficulties of creating these types of costumes and whether they're even practical or not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, here we are again on a Friday. Isn't that crazy?
It's Saturday for the majority of people here.
Oh, it's fair enough. I mean, it's Friday for me still. Sorry.
It's okay.
And people are like, "What are you guys doing? Dead Space is out. What's that
Dead
about?"
Space is out. I know. Dead Space is out.
Well, I can tell you, Fringy is gonna play it after we're done here. Mauler is already playing it.
He's got antlers on his costume. I just hovered over the video preview of Mauler's.
It's one of the like digital deluxe suits.
Yeah, he had like a bunch of them. I checked it out real quickly earlier. A bunch of suits.
My goodness.
There's even like a suit with the old textures and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty neato. But yeah, I was meant to play it earlier today. But it finally happened. My PC was like, "You're not gonna stream and play that at the same time. That's just not gonna happen." And I was like, "Pretty please." And GP was like, "Nah, man, I can't take this." And I was like, shit, what am I gonna do now? So basically, I just bought a new GPU. It's arriving on Monday. So I unfortunately have to start my first playthrough on my own. I'm probably going to start this offline because I have a time frame to uphold because I have that forge planned on this. On the second or third? Second. So I need to get going with that. I can't really wait. So as soon as soon as that GPU arrives and I can put it in my rig, I'll be streaming it as well. So yeah, I unfortunately can't stream it right away. I will stream it as soon as I can when I get my new GPU to actually be able to stream it. Wait, my volume was low? Really? I mean, I didn't really change anything on my volume. I mean, I could turn up my mic a little bit. If that's that better, let me know. Maybe I accidentally moved one of my knobs or something while I was because I'm not far away. I'm right here. Oh wait, hang on. Hang on. No. I think I know what might have happened. No, never mind. It's fine. Get rich and fat on YouTube money, being able to afford a new GPU. I mean, to be honest, it was like a pretty lucky place for this to happen. Because on one hand, I got my bonus in work, and also because everyone here that's watching the forges and stuff have been pretty generous. I had some backup, I would say. I mean, also I had my first video has like 25,000 views. That makes things happen on the money side.
Yeah, boy.
So that's pretty good. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a dumb day for that to happen because now I have to wait till Monday to get one because the local stores, they just don't have the GPUs there, and if they do, they're like $100, $200 even, more expensive. Why am I louder? Wait, Meme is way louder than me. Hang on, maybe I can just turn down Meme.
Yeah, silence me. Make me. Yeah.
But yeah. Also, 5,000 subs on this channel now. Pretty cool.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, this has pretty quickly actually overtaken the Twitch and the archive channel, which I did not expect to happen. So that's pretty neat. Had a little surprise appearance yesterday on Drinker's channel because someone fell off and Mal was like, "Yo, time to do thing." I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I was there hanging out, always a fun time. Had a
little bit of a boost.
Had a little bit of the whiskeys and stuff, just hanging out. But yeah, now we're here and talking about another animated movie. It was like a small animated arc, basically. It's pretty neat.
So is it though? It's only does two out of two. Is two an arc or is that
Nah,
Does an
it's
arc
not
require
really.
3 or more, you know? Like, kind of,
No.
It's a
if you
good
imagine an
question.
arc, right? If you throw a ball, you've got, like, the starting point, and then you've got the peak of the arc. But, like, at that point, it's not really an arc. That's just the end, I guess. Oh, I
Yeah.
guess it's partial arc. No, it's an arc. It arcs. The shape is one. You
Apparently
know
I'm
what? I
Hmm.
think we've
silent.
learned something new today.
We have. I think we have.
Yeah. Am I silent for you guys as well? Do I sound different at all?
You don't sound
No,
different. Not
you sound
yeah.
fine to
You
me.
sound normal volume.
It's
So
OBS
maybe
doing
it's an OBS thing. Yeah.
OBS doing a flam. Well, I guess I can turn up my mic volume here a little bit. Let me know, chat, if that's fine. Does look a little bit low. I mean, now it's all the way up. That should be better. Hopefully. Just making shit up and calling it learning. Shut up.
Hey, man.
Didn't do much on Drunko's room. Hey, I was hanging out, talking. I mean, it's just open. It's open bar. It's just hanging out. So just shut up. Anyway, but yeah, this might be a cozy forge because I can imagine everyone is playing and watching Dead Space right now. So it's gonna be a chillaxed one. But yeah, just nothing else happening. Just been playing Dead Space original, and I'm just gonna be probably gonna be playing this one offline for now until Monday, which is a bit annoying because probably the whole first
And then you think you want to restart like the playthrough then?
Oh, I want to do a New Game
Or...
Plus as well.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, maybe you finish it and then do New Game Plus for the stream.
Yeah, because I think there's some different things. I think there might actually be like a second ending, a hidden one or something. I think I read something about that. I don't even know how you would get this in the game, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if I start now, I definitely have enough time to do a new game and a New Game Plus until the second. That shouldn't be a problem. I don't think the game got much longer from the remake, so it should be fine. I cried during this movie. It moved my heart. Oh. But yeah, I guess we can just jump straight in it. I don't really have anything new to tell everyone, so just been going on doing the thingies and stuff. Let's see. I mean, let's do it every time. What do you guys think? Let's meme start this time.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I was quite smitten with it when I was watching. There's a few contrivances in there that are worth noting, but the animation is just absolutely gorgeous, and it definitely, it's like a very strong argument for stop motion as a medium for storytelling. I really liked all the characters. The voice acting was very strong. There was a lot of different bits and bobs that resonated with me, and I did get quite emotional towards the end. Yeah, it was I had a good time with this one. It was very clearly a labor of love. It very much shows in that regard. Yeah, it's been good eating the last two forges. It really has been.
Very well. Fringy, you do it.
So I thought Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio was a pretty good movie. It feels like it's almost kind of, oh yeah, the production was really great. Like that's the thing that you would obviously say, but like, goddamn, this might be one of the best looking stop motion animated films I've ever seen. I actually recently rewatched Chicken Run, and Aardman's got a style that I really like that's really cool. And what is like featured here, it's just the amount of detail in all of the props and the characters, like the fine details that you're just able to pick up and appreciate that are like showcased in every single frame. It's a gorgeous film. It's got a really unique style. And as for the story itself, I think it's got a really great emotional core. Like at the heart of the story is a pretty straightforward tale that sort of cuts to a lot of fundamental notions about like the value of life and you know, deriving value from relationships and appreciating what you have. And sort of as like through Pinocchio, the film explores, you know, all of these different dimensions of life and sort of the challenges of life and finding value in life. And you know, using Pinocchio, this new character in this world who gets to learn all of this for the first time, is a good vehicle through which to explore it. It's got great voice acting. I really like the music. It's just a very strong film. It's a really, really strong film, and like Meme said, it's very evidently a labor of love. So yeah, I really, really like this movie.
Yeah. I too enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really, really neat. Also, all the things you guys said already. It's just like, looks gorgeous. Clearly a lot of work put into it. It's just, yeah, the voice acting. I mean, I only after looked at the cast, like who's who. It's like,
It's got a stacked cast.
Cricket is
Oh, yeah.
Ian McGregor. We have
Yes.
Ron Perlman as the Podesta guy. Who else? Kate Blanchett.
As the monkey,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Christoph Waltz as the Volpe. I mean, it's just a lot of knowledgeable things. What just showed me is like, man, I can't recall voices for shit. I was like,
I got
this-
Ron Perlman and Ewan, but yeah, that's about it. David Bradley I recognized, but I couldn't quite place it.
Yeah, looks really good. Personally, it's probably not a movie I would watch necessarily. It's not something I super duper enjoy. But that's just a personal preference, of course. But I think it's pretty good. I definitely think it's pretty good. But I probably wouldn't have checked it out if I wouldn't have known that it was like would be this crazy stop motion thingy. So I definitely enjoyed all the visuals and stuff, and the core elements of the movie, what's going for us, definitely resonates with everyone almost, I would say. I mean, it would be weird if it wouldn't be. But yeah, pretty good stuff. As Meme Sarah, some good stuff. Those last two Forges, very enjoyable.
You know, I have a question because
yeah,
I feel like the comparison. It feels kind of lame to make the comparison because it's kind of like, well, they're totally different films, but at the same time they're kind of not. We did the Forge for Puss in Boots 2 last week. Now we're doing Pinocchio this week. These two animated films that are very well received and getting been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Film, and both of which have as a central theme, essentially, you know, the like exploration of mortality and like where the value of life is derived from. Now, the impression that I've already gotten from your two statements on it is that you were not as engaged with this film as you were with Puss in Boots 2.
Well, there's a caveat
Would you say
for
that's
me.
right, or?
There's a caveat for me. I had to stop a lot of times because I had to prep it in between work and stuff, and work was a bit of a pisser today.
Okay.
So I couldn't really get into the flow of the movie because I had to stop like every 20 minutes to do something in work. So that was a bit annoying. So that might be a big part why I didn't get super into it.
Well, something that I would say is that watching the film, I think by the time I was a quarter of the way through it, what I was thinking was I would get the impression that if you were to ask most people which film they would have enjoyed more out of the two of them, I would imagine that more people would say Puss in Boots 2. That would be my guess.
Same, I would guess.
Well,
the same.
the reason why I find the statement for sure they're interesting is because I consider both of these films to be really good.
Yeah.
I think that they're both like loaded with merits. And so I'm almost kind of interested in why that might be the case. Because I haven't seen as many people talk about this film. I saw a lot of people talking about it before it came out. I saw a lot of people talking and doing the memes, right, where like Guillermo del Toro was talking about like animation is just a medium. It's not like for kids. It's not a genre. It's a medium and a vehicle for storytelling. And quotes that he said about crediting animators, like actually giving the animators billing in the film, which they did. Like they had the animators listed in the credits for billing before they did the voice actors. But I haven't seen many people talk about this film. Like frankly, I've seen. Like, you never see it stop with Puss in Boots. Everybody's still talking about it, but I haven't seen many people talk about Pinocchio.
Well, I think it's
Um,
probably the I guess the energy of the movie almost. I mean, Puss in Boots is, even though it has like some of the same core themes going on with mortality and dealing with it, it's much more easygoing. There's comedy in it, and people really like laughing. This one is much more miserable at times with how it's portraying things, because this is like set during World War II and One, and it starts with someone losing his son, and it's like all sad, and it's like, ugh, it's almost a downer.
so
And
it's
so, yeah,
one of the things I would give this film like major props for is that I believe that like it is I really like its willingness to really delve into these sort of heady emotions.
absolutely.
Like it's like we've got a grieving father as like one of our main characters,
Hmm.
and like and like really sort of exploring the dimensions of what it means, for that character, for Geppetto, of like he lost his son, absolutely wrought with grief, and like refused to. It's because that's essentially what we see, right? Through several characters, we're doing the thing again, where we're like exploring the dimensions of like
Right.
the value of life. And after his son has died, Geppetto was just like he can't do it. Like he basically, I think even the Cricket says, right, like the world moved on, but he didn't. And like that already is an establishing as like an emotional core. That's like it's pretty tough, right? Like it's pretty confronting.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's something that gets delved into pretty extensively in the film, which I like. I have a good amount of respect for this film, is what I would say. Um, if for even putting to one side the incredible animation and art and music, like if just for the simple fact that it was willing to at times be like quite tragic.
Yeah.
And I guess I just want to be clear about my position. I think my blurb at the beginning didn't come across. I didn't quite communicate my enthusiasm as much as it probably could have, because I'm still waking up a little bit. So I was
Okay.
actually about as engaged with this one as I was Puss in Boots. I'm just
Okay.
still sipping my morning coffee, so it's
Yeah, no
a little
worries.
bit of a subdued.
The only reason I was thinking about it is just because I like these two films came out around the same time. They were both animated films that were really lauded, and yet I just haven't seen many people talking about Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people talking about it before it came out, but then like as soon as it came out, I just didn't see anything. And I wonder if part of it is the fact that like the way that Pinocchio is presented as a film is that it's not very easy to like take moments, like individual moments from that film, and post them on social media,
Mm.
like to talk about how cool or interesting they are. Like Puss in Boots 2 is quite fast paced, and in a certain
Mhm.
sense, it's more conducive to like these really snappy conversations and like pinpointing these one or two things.
Yeah.
Whereas like I get the impression that Pinocchio is kind of a film where to talk about like to easily, or to talk about what it does well is difficult to like summarize in a really short statement.
Yeah. I mean, I just got
It's
curious now because it said it, and I'm just looking for like a Pinocchio review. So we got IGN, of course, because they have like their 4 minute whatever the shits. Uh, Jeremy Johns, I think he makes like a review of everything, right? He's one of those reviewers, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for the
Uh,
most part, yeah.
and then what else do we have here? We get someone called Steve Reviews. I'm not familiar with that person, but that's another one.
Hmm.
Uh, then we have Kermode and Mayo's Take. That's another one. And yeah, it's just get lower in views now. It's like people I've never heard of. It's not like necessarily like small channels, like medium big channels. But yeah, there's like none of the big ones you would expect, I guess. If that makes sense. So yeah,
I mean, it would have been covered with a lot of reviews, right? Because the reviews, it has like it was incredibly well received, like critically.
yeah.
I'm finding it interesting that it hasn't been
It's not
discussed a whole lot.
it's not as gifable a film, if that makes sense.
No.
No, it's not.
The only thing
it's
I
a
could
slow paced film.
think of that you could make a funny gif of is when the sea captain just yeets himself off when the monster arrives. It was like out of everydachi.
But that's what I mean. Like the film has comedy in it. It's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
got It's definitely got some jokes. It's just that it's more often than not, it's taking itself very seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty serious for sure.
Which really, I think that choice was the right choice because it enables a lot of not to we can get off the comparison to Puss. I don't want to be doing that where I'm just like, oh yeah, they're both animated films, right? So like, we gotta compare them. I think that I think in terms of like trying to distill what I like about the film, it's that I think that in terms of its like structure, it feels like very deliberate in terms of you could break it down into like major parts, and each major part is sort of exploring like another aspect, another like core aspect of life.
Yeah.
And like each time Pinocchio's learning something new about it, and like it's all sort of gradually leading him to sort of understand and realize that that like the value of life or like the value of life is derived by, you know, like every mortal person. A lot of it is derived from the knowledge that it's finite.
Yeah.
But it's kind of almost paralleled in the fact that Geppetto is he's like not even fully sort of appreciating that. He's so like caught up in his own grief and misery that he doesn't sort of see what's in front of him right now, that he's like missing out on life. You know, clinging to the past, like he can't accept Pinocchio for who he is. You know, he wants his son back, but then like sort of coming to it's I'm not quite sure what structure I would take if I wanted to break it down comprehensively. But that was like a broad structure that I noticed in the film, was the sort of broad sections that each explored like a different sort of aspect of life.
Yeah. I'll say something I just now figured out because you said it. This is like actual stop motion, is it?
It's stop motion animation, yeah.
Yeah, it took about
because
15 years to make or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it wasn't in production for 15 years. It was that I think he wanted to make this film like back in 2008. That was when the original. That was when he started working on it. But then it was only. It was like the script wasn't done until much later than that, and then production, you know, later than that. But it's definitely been something he's been working on for a long time.
Yeah, no, because I thought this was computer animated in a stop motion style.
No,
well, that's a compliment to the animation,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because I thought it was like, oh man, like they made it. It looks like actual stop motion, because there's like parts where you see like dirt on the floor, and you can see like how it's kind of like the animation is dirty, no pun intended. Like the earth on the floor just changes to places where it wasn't supposed to be before when you move it, and it was like, oh wait, they added it. They visualized it like this, even though they could have just not done it that way when they animated it with their computers. But apparently that's not a thing. Because I thought, because it looks like it's computer animated, right? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, okay. No, I think no, I'm actually not quite sure. You know how like because the Lego movie is computer animated, but
right.
It's, you know, like trying to make it look like it's a stop motion animated Lego movie. Here I think it was just like it's there's a lot of these like details that kind of like only exist right in stop motion animation, like the kind of little imperfections that give it a lot of character and life.
Yeah.
Like something moves a little bit out of place because the hand of an animator like nudged something out of the way.
Right. Yeah.
And also like the tangibility of all of the props and the characters. Like there's like something to it that you can see in there where it's like, man, that's real, and that's like gorgeous, like what you've created here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I even have written down, it's like, oh man, they even made it look like it's actual real stop motion, like because the movement just looks like it, but apparently it's just the real deal.
Well, some stuff was CG, right? Like the water would have been CG. But it is, like predominantly stop motion animated.
Yeah, like they shot it very much like you would shoot a live action thing, only very slower. So like you do have green screens in the background for set extensions and stuff, but all the foreground stuff, that's all stop motion. Guillermo was actually very insistent. Like they would make these models up, and they would come out, you know, looking as clean as, you know, as a newborn baby, and then he would keep sending notes back, going like, looks too clean, make it dirtier, nope, make it dirtier, make it dirty, because he wanted that reality there. And he was very insistent on all the props and everything being at the right scale, and everything having this realism. And he was something I found interesting, because I watched the behind the scenes featurette for this, because it auto played right after the thing, which I thought was quite fortuitous, even if it meant I went to bed a little bit later than I would have. He was insistent on animating mistakes, which is to say, the small things you would only get in live action normally, but he wanted to translate that into the animation. So I think you actually there was actually a little moment in your loop there where the little boy, I forget what his name was, the one who got Carlo, Carlo. I'm good with faces, not names. Carlo. So he, at the beginning, after he's swinging on the swing, which already that's like wow. He goes through the door, and then the door doesn't quite close properly, so he has to go back and then close it again, just to close it properly. And it's little moments like that he was really insistent on putting in, because that adds that extra level of reality into the animation. And it's stuff like that that just like blows me away, because that would have taken so much more work.
So it just closed
to do,
and then
it
just turns around. I think here it's like, oh, not quite done though. Just goes back.
Yeah,
it's quite good.
Yeah, it's good shit. Really good shit.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I mean, the visuals are just breathtaking. It's nuts.
Yeah, like even the pine cone, they spent so much time on thinking about the pine cone and how they can incorporate not only like the physical pine cone, but also elements of the pine cone into other parts of the movie, because the pine cone is very symbolic and thematic of life and death, and the cycles that we go through. So that was so that, I was, that if I already really liked the film after watching the behind the scenes featurette, it almost doubled my appreciation for it, because it was just such a fine level of artistry there. It was it was done animated across 3 countries apparently. Really? Like I was very insistent on getting like a Mexican studio involved as well, because he thought that they would add something to the mix. It was quite an undertaking to put this together, and it really does show. Even stuff like most of the people are like mechanical puppets, so they're animated by so their facial expressions are animated by mechanisms in the face. But Pinocchio is a swap face puppet, so every single time his face moves, it's a new face that they had to carve, and they did that.
It definitely had to be that. You can tell. Well, maybe you can tell. No, not in a bad way. It's just like when I was watching, I was like, "There's no way. Like that has to be a different head every time." There's no. How could they have possibly done that otherwise? Like because it's such a seamless design. Which, like, talking about the design for Pinocchio, like this one is pretty like incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
I really like the design that they went with for Pinocchio here. Like, it's very much just accentuates the reality that he was, carved out of a tree. That he is a wooden boy.
Here, look at. I'm gonna put him on screen now. There he is.
Yeah, because with Pinocchio, they wanted it to. They wanted. I think the reason they went for that, they explicitly said, was because they wanted his facial expressions to have like a wooden quality to it. Well, not in the sense that he wouldn't have expression, but in terms of how it moves.
There's definitely that. I imagine that a big reason why they wanted to really emphasize like his nature is because one of the core themes of the film is about like changing one's nature, or like rather maybe sometimes that's not what we should be trying to make people do or forcing people to do. There's like a lot of instances in the film with several characters about being forced to be something that they're not, like that other people are forcing them to be something that they're not, and like the misery that can come from people doing that. Because obviously you have it with Pinocchio, right? And Geppetto wants him to be Carlo, but he's not. Like, he's not Carlo, he's Pinocchio. He's his own person, and he's got his own traits and wishes and goals in the world. And over the course of the film, he comes to realize that he needs to love him for who he is. that like he is valuable as he is, not what like he intends for him to be, what he intended for him to be, what he'd rather him be.
Yeah.
But that he's valuable for who he is. And then you have it again with the I can't remember the character's name, but it was the son of the officer. The
Candle.
Candlewick, I think was his name.
Yes.
And how like his dad was essentially trying to force him to become cold-hearted. And it was just not something that he wanted to do. And then at the same time with the monkey, right? Of like essentially being forced into this life that he didn't want. Just because
they have so crazy names. I just
they have funny names, yeah. But because like Count Volpe just wanted to, you know, like exploit him and use him to make money, like that's a pretty persistent thing. And I imagine that the reason why they hyper emphasize that Pinocchio is made of wood, that he is very clearly a toy, is because it is something, or not a toy, but like very clearly not a human, is to emphasize the fact that like that should be irrelevant. Like you're trying to make him into something that he fundamentally is not. And that there is something valuable about the way that he is right now. That like he is totally fine as he is now. I would say that was probably the main reason why they had Pinocchio be very obviously like carved out of a tree, compared to like, you know, Disney Pinocchio, where like even though he's obviously a toy, like he's painted, right? He's got these more like expressions.
Yeah, that's one thing. I was kind of expecting Geppetto to I don't know, make him cleaner the next day, over the next 2 days.
That was the whole point, right? Is he was like, I'll finish him tomorrow, but it's like, well, that's not how it works.
But then
you're not going to finish him. Like, this is who he is.
That's neat.
Yeah. That's what.
Yeah,
see,
exactly.
It's, again, when it's this deliberate, it's like, yeah, man, you thought about this for a while, and you made sure that all of the scenes and all of the plot beats were constructed in service of like this theme. It's all a little too deliberate, you know?
Yeah.
To not have been like absolutely the point and absolutely intended and planned.
Yeah, because I think he's even missing an ear still, like the whole movie.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, it's like,
that's right.
There's like nails.
And I believe
in
by
his
the end he
back.
loses the ear. I think he loses it by the end, or it gets destroyed. Yeah,
like his legs gets burned off, and they kind of just put new ones around. He's like, oh, those are perfect, and it just stays like that the whole movie.
Well, there's plenty to read into that. Yeah, it's like, because it's you know, it's like, obviously Geppetto had like there was a life that he wanted to lead, and there was a life he wanted to lead, and he wanted to lead it with his son. You know, the one of the people, like it's I mean, it's like the Cricket says it explicitly, right? Like the only thing that he needed was him and his son, and as long as they were together, he was happy. But that was cut short. It's like, well, now he has to move forward with the life as it is now. Because it's kind of a part of life, right? Like sometimes your plans don't work out. Sometimes you don't get to finish what you started. Another thing that was represented with the Jesus, the crucifix, that he was working on, right, left incomplete. That because you know of this loss, he left it incomplete. A sense his life is. Damn, like how much of this is just going to be talking about all of the symbolism in the film?
I mean, there's a lot of
thematic storylines.
There's a ton of it.
It's dense with them. It's very dense.
I mean, plot-wise, it's pretty straightforward, but it's all like
it's dense with imagery and theme and all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's why I said I probably would have appreciated or got more into it if I wouldn't have had to be interrupted by work. Which is funny because this is also work, but you know, like the
I gotcha.
Day job.
It's fun work though. Again, to talk about cool movies.
I love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why I put myself on this kind of schedule.
The thing with like a film like this is that I wouldn't feel particularly compelled to do like a plot breakdown because the plot is relatively straightforward. And it's not really about like what's happening in the plot directly. It's much more so about like the subtext and the symbolism of each of these things. Like it's you know, it's like you're watching a fairy tale essentially. I feel like that's a good way to describe what this film is. It's like it's much more so bound by those thematic goals, like as the driving element more so than anything that is like happening in the plot specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Also, man, I just randomly got on that. Just look at this. Just look how fucking good that looks. Like, Jesus. So good. I said Jesus was, this Jesus there.
There he is.
Much better Jesus parallels than Man of Steel, I must say.
Interestingly enough, they never say the name Jesus in this movie, do they? I'm pretty sure they
Well,
don't.
they don't need to, I guess. It's like, Yeah, you know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the
The closest,
guy the up there.
yeah. Like even the church, they made it before they bombed the shit out of it, but they made it so that because I think Del Toro knew that churches in this style were usually constructed over the course of decades, if not centuries. So
Yes.
he made sure that all the stained glass windows were of a different style and the architecture was mishmash because of how extended that construction process would be. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm trying to find a place where he's doing some wood carving because that's a really cool stop motion thing that
That part was really impressive.
is this the shoes one? Is that the one I'm thinking? Yeah. Just the. Hang on, let me make a little loop out of this actually. Because then
And the
I
fact
have to
that,
be scared of copyright all the way,
it's the fact that Pinocchio, I think that we already kind of talked about this, but they very intentionally made Pinocchio asymmetrical because it's very thematically relevant, but also because Geppetto constructs him while he's drunk. It's
Yeah.
so it comes across in the design.
Just look at this, like.
Oh
Holy
my
fuck.
god,
That's so good.
how did they do that? There's a lot of shots in this film where it's like, how the fuck did they do that? Like even with digital enhancements, some of it is like, how much of that is stop motion? How much of that is enhanced?
Yeah.
Like they animated, like all the fire in the film is actually CGI, but they animated it in such a way that I would believe that they actually went in and just started flickering different fire assets in place. It was quite amazing.
Yeah, they made it look kind of like is it cellophane, like the sort of see-through that material?
Yeah,
Like
something like
along
that.
with like sandpaper, kind of had that look, like of mixing those two things together. And yeah, like it's not real, but it's really seamless.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it kind of dips into the Lego movie territory.
There's another one I was thinking of as well. I'll find it. Don't you worry, chat. I'll find it. I know it's in here. I remember it was early. Oh! I was on there. Oh, there it is. That's the one. Do another loop-de-loop here because man, it's just insane. There it is. Boom. Look at this when he uses. I actually don't know how you call this tool.
Shaver or something? I don't know.
Kind of carpenter, right? I have no idea.
Yeah, but it looks so smooth. Look at it. It's like whoop. It's amazing. A planar, apparently planner. Yeah,
okay.
What chat says.
Yeah.
You'll find the right pronunciation because I don't know it. Stuff like shaving the wood is why I thought this wasn't stop motion. Yeah, I can totally see that. But yeah, it's quite something. Quite something to behold. It's very nifty. Okay, let me get rid of this loop-de-loop. So, yeah, so I mean, just basically the first 10, 12 minutes is basically we see where we go. There you go. We see Geppetto and Carlo just hanging out, living their life. It's just all nice and dandy. Because I mean, it starts with we see him on his gravestone, and we hear it's like, oh yeah, he died during the World War, and then we have the backstory from Sebastian. That's his name. I just completely forgot. And he basically tells us like, yeah, those two just chilling out, having a lovely time. All they needed was themselves, their company. They didn't really need anything else. They're just having a good time. And then he made some toys. Carlo was helping out, and yeah, he was just doing child things really. He was just on his little swing, helping out the father man, and yeah, he's just excited to see things. He's like, oh, look, there's planes. This is amazing. Obviously, not knowing that those are like bombers and stuff. He's just like, look at those planes. Planes are cool. And yeah, they were loved by the town. They were just hanging out. One of them even calls him a model Italian citizen and a great father. Everything is fine and dandy. And then one day,
Yeah.
Geppetto is building a crucifix. He's helping out. And some bombers drop bombs on the city and blow up the church. And Slayer figured out they weren't even the target. They just dropped the bombs because they needed some, get rid of some mass so they don't have to refuel as much or reach their destination. And yeah, it's quite sad, if you will.
Well, it just emphasizes how unnecessarily tragic it is that it's like they just dropped them because it made it easier for them to get back to base, and the cost was Carlo, and essentially, you know, Geppetto. Like he just never, Geppetto never, he was never the same man after that. Like it destroyed his life.
Yeah,
and all just you know, it's like that life is so incredibly fickle here. Like it can just disappear in an instant, and for like basically no reason at all.
Yeah.
No reason. It's just totally tragic.
Yeah, there's like one scene in particular that's probably worth pointing out is with the pine cone, because Carlo shows him like, here, I found this pine cone, it's really cool, and Geppetto's like, no, but we need a perfect pine cone with all the things still intact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which he would probably not say anymore after everything that happened after the movie.
No, he would not say that because he's learned something about life.
And it's interesting because he doesn't even mean it in like a malicious way or something. It's just like talking to
No,
him,
he
like,
just wants the best one.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
It.
He just wants
just
the
like,
best one.
Let's get the best one.
And then we're just gonna bury it and make a tree out of it.
It's like Mim said, like the central symbol of the film is the pine cone.
Yeah.
Like the pine cone is like fundamental.
Yeah, and in the night they before everything goes to Poopyheimers, Carlo actually shows him. It's like, here, look, I found this pine cone. It's like, oh, that's great, it's fantastic. Yeah, and then just like gets blown up. But yeah, it's the big sad. So there's one of the first symbolism-tisms for sure. That's like the most important one from the get-go because it just sets up what we're looking for here. And yeah, after this happened, I think Sebastian says, "Oh yeah, he worked very little. He ate even less. I think something along those lines." And yeah, they bury him. Everyone moves on except Geppetto. He's like just getting drunk, mourning for years and years. I think the implication is like basically from World War I to II, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, at least that's how I got it, because the tree grew all the way, so it's definitely
exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of Nazi imagery as well. So we're around that time period. I'm not sure if the people, like the soldiers in this, because I wrote Naziman in my notes because I just didn't know any better. But then, like the further I went along, I was like, these probably don't technically count as Nazis. They're probably just part of like the Axis power.
Yeah,
but it's still funny to write in my notes.
What I found interesting, he called themselves fascists. I don't know if they would do that. Would you call yourself a fascist?
It was fascist Italy.
So
fascism was like an ideology that people like had and openly like claimed because
that was like a question I had. I wasn't sure if that was actually a thing they did back then, and I didn't check back.
Yeah, it was fascist in World War II.
That's interesting because it always feels like you wouldn't call yourself a fascist these days because people were like, wait a minute.
Well, it's because World War II destroyed the ideology of fascism.
Yeah.
Like World War II was basically what humanity's condemnation of that ideology. But this would have been before the end of World War II when this was taking place. But yeah, it's fascist Italy, so
that makes sense. Okay, that's something I just didn't know. We learn everything. Everything? We learned something.
I'm learning.
I learned the phlegm. But yeah, then I think we go back to just Sebastian the Cricket, because he's just like looking for somewhere to chill out and write his memoirs, right?
Write his memoirs, that's right. Also, I really liked the Cricket.
Oh
he
yeah,
was
As do
very
I.
entertaining.
dude, he gets it
And
the
I
whole
love the
movie. I
design.
feel so bad for him. He just gets
I
squished
love
and
the design.
smooshed the whole time.
But I mean, it's that's the setup for him, right? Is he's looking for a place to write his memoirs, and like
Yeah.
basically immediately
Look at
the
him.
thing, like everything changes for him because he sets up in the tree that grew next to Carlo's grave, and that's where he's going to sit down and write his memoirs. But then Geppetto cuts the tree down straight away and starts using it to build Pinocchio,
Yeah.
and then like from there on, the memoirs of this thing that he's just not able to write because he's now got a different thing that's happening for him in his life,
Yeah.
which obviously leads somewhere at the end. Because again, even your boy Sebastian J. Cricket is even he's going to be learning some things about life. Look at the design.
Yeah, it's
It's
awesome.
awesome.
It's great.
He's got a
Yeah.
little mustache too.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a little backpack.
What I love about the scene
Oh man,
is apparently.
if I
Oh,
would
sorry.
have, oh, I'm just looking at this exact frame. If I would have looked at this frame earlier, I would have been able to tell that it is like actual stop motion because you can tell from the backpack, like you can see the individual
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
It's
look
great.
at that.
seams and stuff. It's yeah, it's great.
And what's interesting about the cricket, well, there's a couple of things. I think the smaller thing I found amusing was that apparently somewhere in this world, someone is selling cricket-sized matchsticks and cricket-sized paraphernalia. That was just a funny little thing for me. I guess there's probably just a whole community of talking crickets somewhere in this
I
world.
believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. But the second thing is because, of course, this is a much smaller character than the other characters. So in order to get a bunch of different shots, they had to create a bunch of different scales of puppets. So they actually had these giant, huge Pinocchio puppets that they created
Nice.
that are bigger than a human in real life, just so they could get this tiny cricket to animate on it. And then they made these minuscule, like smaller than your thumbnail, cricket puppets for some of the wider shots. And it was, they really pushed the limits of a manipulatable puppet as far as scale was concerned. So it's really fucking impressive work there.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's how
Oh,
you
yeah.
put work into your movies. It's just it's great. And you can tell. What the hell was that? Sorry, I was just about to tweet out that we're streaming because I forgot earlier. But just did some weird stuff and just deleted the tweet when I finished writing it. Just go
That's
ahead.
lame.
Talk more. I'll just write it again.
Oh well, so
What?
the problem is I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I get worried when I'm going to lose these sorts of thoughts.
Right.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because of course with Sebastian J. Cricket, he's going on a similar arc to a lot of the characters in the film in terms of life doesn't go quite as planned, but that's okay.
Right.
Because he
Yeah.
wants to write his memoirs, and by the end of the film, they're not really his memoirs. It's a story about Pinocchio. It's this story about another person who he's come to know. You know, and it includes Pinocchio, and it includes Geppetto, and it includes the monkey as well. And it all just comes from like, well, he had a plan, but life had different plans for him. And I mean, it was, the fairy had different plans for him, like herself. Like he sort of just became embroiled in it, and then over the course of the film, like he's not really happy about that. But then, like as he gradually comes to know Pinocchio and come to care for him, he goes on that shift where he starts to realize that like it's okay that life is leading him in this direction, and that in fact like it puts him in a position to do some real good, like right near the end of the film, to achieve something that in a sense is like. Well, not even in a sense, that is like way more important and meaningful to the people he cares about, and then like just writing his memoirs. It's just really
Exactly.
cool. We got a lot of work going on for a whole bunch of different characters, even though the story itself is again incredibly straightforward.
Exactly.
Yeah. The way they described it in that behind the scenes feature, it kind of really emphasizes that where usually Pinocchio's story is focused squarely on Pinocchio's character development, while in this interpretation, it's more about how Pinocchio affects other people and how through his actions and his journey other people learn things about themselves and through him. So I think that's really, really cool. And the cricket is like the perfect example of that.
His mere presence enriches other people's lives, and it all stems from him being as he is, not who Geppetto wanted him to be, or who the fascists wanted him to be as like a soldier, or what Volpe wanted him to be as like this performer that just makes him a bunch of money. It's just him being like a good-hearted kid. And you're
Absolutely.
right, like it's much more, even though obviously Pinocchio was learning things about life himself and making some really important choices, there is a much more of an emphasis on other characters as well. Like Geppetto in particular, like if anybody's really going on the arc, it's him.
Yeah.
Like of everybody, he's got like the biggest thing that he needs to come to understand. And like, holy shit, I find him to be an immensely sympathetic character.
Absolutely.
That character is or I will say this might be jumping the gun a bit too, but like the film got me at one point. There was one point where it got me. Hit me right in the feels.
Oh yeah, there were a couple of moments I think for me where like the animation combined with the vocal performances. Like I don't even know how they did the tears when they start crying, but goddamn, they did that well. Just everything kind of just came together, just to really tug at those heartstrings.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So yeah, already went over. So yeah, we also get to learn there's like actual spirits in this universe, which
is so cool looking. Like that's
cool.
Del Toro's strong suit.
Yeah, it's basically just like floating eyeballs.
Yeah.
Here, look at them.
That blunk.
They do a little blink here and there, and basically, yeah, they wander around. Sebastian has seen a bunch of them on his travels across the world, but they normally don't really
poke him.
Sorry?
I want to poke him.
Just poke the eyeballs. And,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, but they normally don't really interfere with anything. They're just kind of hanging out. They just do their thing. But yeah, it's really cool looking. They just kind of look around, have a little blinky blink. And yeah, Geppetto just knocks the tree down. It's like, I'm gonna make it you, Carlo. I'm sick of it. And he's like pissed up to be, everything. He's like drunk as shit. Yeah, he gets one of the logs back home, and he just starts working. And man, considering his current state and liquor input, he's working very effectively. He's a good builder of wood things. The carpenter, I guess, is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he starts like putting things together, and it's kind of rough, but you can make out he has like a little thing going on. So yeah, we of course we got this shot. Just the picture of Carlo right where Pinocchio's head's gonna go.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's really good.
Not really subtle, but it's good.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's the kind of shot that isn't too forced as well, because because the photo's already there, the workshop's there. It's kind of natural that the two would kind of align like that. And something that I found really compelling about this scene and about this film in general, and the behind the scenes confirmed this, though I picked up on it pretty early on, is that this is Pinocchio through the lens of the Frankenstein story. This is very much a Frankenstein version of Pinocchio, as far as like the imagery, the real hardcore emphasis on the outsider element, and that's because, of course, Del Toro is a creature guy, but he's also like a story and character guy, and thus he finds the Frankenstein story to be a very compelling one, and he wanted to apply that to Pinocchio, and I think he does it extraordinarily well here.
So yeah, Geppetto's feeling that booze, the wine, and he just where he makes the head and puts him on there. But of course, it's just right now. It's just a wooden doll, and he's like, "I'm gonna face you tomorrow," and then just drops the empty bottle, falls down the stairs, just slides down, just falls asleep immediately. And
Oh yeah.
this is when we get to see the get to see all these spirits appear, and Sebastian's like, "No, go away, piss off from the doll, it's not ready," or something. And they're like, "Okay, we gonna go." But then this creature appears. I was like, "Holy shit, that looks cool as fuck."
Oh yeah, that's
this
like a
is the-
biblically accurate angel combined with the traditional angel. I love it so much.
Yeah, you stole the words out of my mouth. Yeah, it's like all these eyes, but also normal angel wings, and but also partially like sci-fi, not sci-fi, fantasy creature, like just a spirit from the woods as well. It's like a mishmash of all these things, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, and this is
Really,
the
really
angel. I think this angel represents life. This is the angel of life, I believe.
Yes, she is.
right.
Or it's the Wood Sprite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they call her a Wood Sprite somewhere at the end. But yeah, it's really cool. Like I think the eyes even like blink once in a while, like all of them. It's quite something.
Oh yeah. Each eye is animated, which is like, look at the scale of the eyes compared to the larger model, and I
Yeah.
know the scale of these models as well, which means that those eyes have to be tiny. So yet they still managed to make them animate, which could have been digital, admittedly, but if it wasn't, like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's really cool looking. Oh god, VLC, no, don't do it. Try to see if I can find a frame with the eyes closed. No, we just go to Sebastian. Okay, fine. But yeah, I love that design. It's quite fantastic. It's very, very good. And yeah.
Fun fact about Sebastian, they were some of the animators were quite unsure about the character when they initially read about him in the script, but then as soon as Ewan McGregor started voicing him, they immediately flipped their stance and went, "We can't get enough of this character in the film. We need to now frame the entire film around this cricket." And bless them for it. Bless them for it. It was the right move.
Cricket.
Yeah.
I'm character design in particular. Like
Look
I
at the
kind
guy.
of adore it. It's fantastic.
He doesn't care about no
Absolutely.
spirits. He's like, "I'm living in there. You go away."
And as you can see from this close-up, the angels are another example of the swap face of models, as opposed to the more mechanical ones.
Yeah. I wonder what her real face looks like. Yeah, because she seems to have some kind of mask game going on here. But yeah, quite cool design. I like it. Yeah, Sebastian is basically like, "No, stop that. I live in there. This is my property. What do you do? I have the right to know." Yeah, she is basically like, "Well, if you live inside his heart already, you might as well take care of him and make sure he's a good boy. And if you manage to do that, you get one wish, everything you want." And I was like, "Ooh,
Chekhov's wish.
Chekhov's wish, yeah."
I will never tire of just pointing out Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's everything.
And I will never tire of pointing out, wish for unlimited wishes if they say that you, unless they specify.
I figured that it would be really lame if he's like unlimited wishes, and then the Wood Sprite was like, "No, obviously not, you jerk. No, not that." You know what, I'll just assume that was implied.
Yeah.
That's the line of dialogue where we have to deal with that problem.
How dare you even asking that, you little cricket?
Smack you.
And yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like, ooh, you could publish my memoirs. I could ask for fame and fortune and everything. He's like, okay, I agree. And then he says, I will do my best, and that's that's the best a man can do. I think I've written that down wrong. I think it was a bit different.
It was a little bit different than that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like he's gonna do his best, and that's all someone can ask for, because that's what I can do. And
yep, kind of another one of those important lines.
Yeah. And yeah, he agrees, and she goes like, "Oogly boogly, you live now." And I'm just trying to get the the frame for that, because it looks really cool. Because she puts her hand on the torso and just starts lighting up completely, and just looks so good. Yeah, look at this. I'm just gonna go frame by frame. Look at this. Look how good this looks. Like all the little crevices and wooden parts. Like you can definitely tell here that this is like actual model they use. And then I guess the lights are CG on top of it, but it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's
unless someone's gonna tell me now that they made a model that lights up like that, then I'm gonna come.
It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. They were apparently they developed new lighting systems for this film so that they could be more dynamic with it. So that they had there's one point where a character is holding like a torch, like just a stick with a piece of fire on the top. I think it was a burning contract. And on set, it was actually a stick with an LED on top, so they could have that light in the frame, and then they could have the moonlight be a separate lighting element rather than having to fuck around with it a lot in post. So they got really innovative with how they were lighting this film. So it's super impressive in that regard.
Yeah, Sebastian gets a little zapty zap when he's sitting on the nose.
Thus begins the theme of Sebastian Must Suffer.
Yeah, he just gets wrecked the whole time. Poor guy. He's just trying his best, okay? He's doing great. So yeah. Now it's it's not a real boy. It's a doll that's alive.
You're not a real boy.
Yeah. Oh. Sad.
Take that.
Yeah, Geppetto sleeps like that the whole night. He's gonna have a bad back the next day, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a nice little thing. He just goes straight to the bottle again, and just kind of, you can hear like like the voice makes when you blow into it. It's kind of funny.
Now, the benefit of having a wooden son is that he can't cut himself on all those bottle fragments on the floor.
That's true. I was surprised he didn't cut himself and fell on one of these. I was kind of concerned for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of tumbling around, and then he hears footsteps on top. He's like, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" And he gets like a hatchet. It's like, "Well, who goes there? I have a weapon." And he goes up, and holy damn, this is like a horror movie the way they introduce Pinocchio.
Hello there, father.
Hello there, papa.
Fucking just backwards crab walks.
Yeah, I mean, look at him just ascend from there. Like the legs come first, and then it goes like whoop, and his head is
still learning how to people.
Yeah, and his head is backward as well. It just turns around. Oh god, look at this! It's like, oh my god, it doesn't have a face. What is happening? Am I gonna watch a horror movie now? This is terrifying. I feel so bad for Geppetto.
You created me with your grief, father.
Yes. Oh god, just look at these empty eyes here as well. Oh wait, there's 2 noses right now.
Oh my god.
I think that's not supposed to look like that.
I think they might have done that to create the illusion of motion blur.
Yeah, because the next frame is like 1 nose. Look at this. This looks horrifying. It's just... Oh god, it does a full rotation as well. You didn't need to do that, Pinocchio. That's just... Oh, it's just horrifying. Look at this goofy face now. It's like, hello, Papa. It's like, ah!
Holy hell.
Yeah.
I think I had to rewatch that bit a couple of times because I was just like, holy fuck.
Animation to fit the speed into fewer frames. Yeah, I thought so. I just found it funny to see it. But yeah, and Geppetto is clearly terrified. He's like, what are you? He's like, oh, I'm your son, Papa. And he just kind of contorts his arms, goes like, nyeh. Walks on his hand and rolls around. He's like, go away, I have a weapon, I'll attack you. And then Sebastian looks out of the torso and goes, and Geppetto's like, oh, it's full of cockroaches too.
This is like the most realistic reaction I've seen from a Geppetto, and it's great.
Yeah. And then he just falls down the stairs. The hatchet almost hits him in the face twice. Second time he catches it. And yeah, and then Pinocchio just starts singing, running around. It's like, oh, what is this? What does this do? And I just love this combination of Geppetto's being horrified, but also starting to get annoyed that he starts breaking all the shit.
Yeah,
and
like,
there's that God,
innocent wonder as well.
Stop talking. Just go away. I'm gonna attack you. And it's like, oh, what is this? What does this do? It's like, that's a clock. It's gonna do a song at 6. It's like, please don't touch it. No, you're breaking. It's like, oh, come on. It's like so annoyed and horrified at the same time. It's quite funny.
Absolutely. It's juxtaposed from Pinocchio's perspective, where for him everything is just literally everything is new to him, and everything is exciting because it's new. Like it is, he's birthed with a level of language skill, a level of gross motor coordination, but besides that, everything, like a broom. I don't know what a broom is. It's so cool. What does this do? Hammer. What does hammer do? It smashes. Oh, cool.
Oh, I'm gonna do that. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, cool. You're gonna lock me in the closet. Yeah. Oh, wait. No. Fuck. I want to go to church.
Yeah.
What does the chamber pot do? That one got a good laugh out of me.
It's frozen back in his face. It's really fun. He's just enjoying his new things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that he learns to, like, he can't walk properly, but it's kind of one of those you gotta fly before you walk sort of thing, or in this case, you gotta dance before you can learn to walk.
Yeah.
Because after he dances in this scene, he suddenly knows how to walk well. So I guess that's kind of a cool thing. I think it's kind of, you got to go in the deep end before you swim in the shallows. It's such a cool representation. Like this scene, it does so many things in such a short space of time. It shows the very realistic, horrified reaction someone would have to this puppet coming to life with a talking cricket in its chest, and at the same time, it encapsulates that childlike wonder you would expect from, a literal, child just being manifested into the world. With no concept of what anything is, but wanting to know what everything is at the same time. Very, very. Also, Pinocchio is, well, we learn this a bit later in the scene, but Pinocchio is a very, very strong boy, very, very strong. No lock can contain him.
No. Yeah, he puts him in this little closet. And it's like, George, I want to go to church. It's like, absolutely not. You gotta stay in there. Oh, but I want to go. And it just gets okay. You must obey your papa. And Sebastian even says like, you need to do the thing. And Pinocchio's like, no, I'm gonna go. I want to go to church. So he immediately breaks out of the thing. He's like, woo, going to church. Sebastian is trying his best. He's like, no, you need to be a good boy because that's the task he got from the spirit. So he's gonna try. He's trying. But yeah, no, he just leaves and gets squished for his efforts immediately.
And thus begins the running gag of whenever that song happens, bad things are probably about to happen.
Yeah. I'll say he doesn't have his ear here yet, so he doesn't lose it. He just doesn't have one from the get go.
Though I remember
he
him
has
carving
one,
it.
but not the other. He has one.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
has only one. He doesn't lose.
Yeah.
Oh, did you mean he loses the second one as well? Or
no, so he only has one ear, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the film he loses that ear too.
Okay, gotcha.
Because of course it's kind of like just a symbolic break from trying to make him into somebody that he's not, and basically accepting him for who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one I like about that is it's nice and subtle. It's the kind of thing where I think you could easily miss it. But it feels like very important symbolically.
Yeah. So he's just walking around having a great time. Just going to church.
Wow, birds!
And he's like, yeah, burbs. Burbs are cool.
Well, everything's cool, yeah. Everything is cool and interesting.
Yeah. Also, another little detail, which I only now realized. The first time we see this is like a little thing with a lady on it. I think it's like a shop or something. But now it's, it's propaganda for war.
Yeah. And is that a dead dog?
I think it's just lying there.
The town is looking a lot. He's just looking quite haggard. But yes, the town is not particularly colorful anymore.
No.
Everything's a little bit more gray and washed out.
Yeah, I got all the paint peeling on the buildings. Fantastic touch, by the way. Just cracks and all that. They went through a lot of effort to research historical Italian architecture, and not only just from a single period, but with the knowledge that these towns would have been and have to have different buildings from different time periods, and would have molded and merged over time. They really went the extra mile, as well as trying to keep it within Del Toro's usual kind of artistic sensibilities. It's just this wonderful balance that they went for. They did not half-ass anything in this.
No. But yeah, he ends up getting to the church, just kind of going through the town. At first, no one is really noticing him, but then all of a sudden it's like, what is this? and he sees Geppetto's like, hey, Papa, what's going on? Oh, he's even mimicking the Jesus statue. I only just saw that. I missed that when I was watching it.
Yeah, all I could think was like, not only is this going to come off as a horrifying abomination to the people in there, but he's also blaspheming all over the place to just double his trouble. It's really funny.
So something that happens in the scene that's kind of an interesting touch is damn, I got the son of the that's right, Candlewick. There's like a couple of interesting reactions that he has during the scenes of Pinocchio. Okay. Like at first it's like, oh wow, that's like very surprising, and then like as his father sort of like pushes him behind him, and then there's like the part when Pinocchio lies and says I'm a real boy, and then his nose turns into a little bit more like a tree.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at him like with kind of an astonishment and curiosity. Then he looks up at his dad, and then he mimics like his dad's kind of stern, like expression. It's just cool. These sorts of little touches, and and of course, because it was something that is just becoming even more clear to me as you were mentioning, like sort of like the architecture and how everything was getting worn down, and it was kind of like trying to merge all of this. Like you've got this older Italian architecture that's kind of being, in a sense, almost like dragged down by this oppressive government. It's just the fact that it was set during this, time, right, when like, trying to assert control over people and force people to be something that they're not. It's like it feels like it's very sort of represented in the Candlewick. like of that he's sort of constantly under a pressure to be something that he's not, just like Pinocchio. It's just a different kind, because obviously with Pinocchio, it's like, you need to be, you know, Carlo, or you need to be like a soldier, or you need to be like my performer in my puppet show. It's just an interesting sort of little detail that I noticed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I found the frame you're talking about. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's the
oh,
one.
look
That's
at
the one.
this. And then he just looks up and goes like,
That kid needs a
Yeah.
dentist.
Still kind of hiding, but he's just not as surprising. It was like, oh, that's suspicious. Not curious.
Yeah, because that's what his dad is doing. So
Yeah.
that must be right. Like that must be the correct response, rather than this more like astonishment, awe, and curiosity.
Because as we will soon find out, he is trying really hard to impress his dad, to get him to like him, and that's going to be a whole payoff thingy as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that only makes it even stronger, that payoff, because that's like those small things you don't even notice that well.
Yeah. Something to note, because we're talking about the performances from the puppets, even the non-verbal ones. Something interesting to note is that before they would animate, they would actually record. The animators would record themselves performing the actions, and they would get the camera angles and the movement from the animators actually performing the scenes themselves very roughly. And then they would copy those and recreate those using those movements using the puppet. So that added that extra bit of realism on top of that, and that helped to gain a lot of the subtlety that might be difficult to create on the fly.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, just using it as a reference, just important.
Yeah,
that's why it's so hard to animate animals, because it's hard to get them to, you know, do what you want and get a good reference.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why a lot of times if you have like moving animals in movies, they can be looking kind of flumpy.
Especially if they talk and they're not like completely CGI, like they do the thing where it's a real animal and then they just animate the lip flaps. It's a bit like, oh.
Yeah, they go back home and he's just kind of fixing up Pinocchio. He just cuts down his nose a little bit, and then the Podesta visits him, just to like, hey, your little creation there, is that going to be a problem for the government? Because
we heard you were harboring Jewish puppets.
No, that's not what he said.
He's Italian. What?
Yeah, that's what I have written in my notes, because he did the Nazi salute, and then I just thought of that joke because.
Did you not know that like Italy was fascist and what? Like, did you guys not know that?
No. My problem was I didn't realize it was Italy until a little bit later, because
you didn't realize it was Italy.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, look, it's I don't know why, really. I just didn't.
Look at the town. Look at the name. Carlo. Geppetto. Like what?
Look, my brain got confused. My brain was very confused. It was very confused. It realigned eventually. But before that point, it was like, it just took a little bit to align. But once it did, we were good. But this was before the moment of alignment. And I felt like, well, I'm not going to waste this joke just because I'm wrong.
But yeah, this is where I actually went down. It's like, he called himself the perfect fascist. That's weird. But I guess that's a thing that was a thing. Yeah, that's something I learned today. That's pretty cool. But yeah, he's just kind of making sure that it won't be a problem. Also, the priest is like, well, you built this, but you still haven't finished the crucifix. That's so blasphemous. I don't like you anymore. You dumbass. I swear that's what he said. Yeah, Pinocchio and Candlewick are just kind of chilling at the fire. And he's like, hey, how about you get a bit closer to the fire to warm your feet even more? And Pinocchio took that very literally and just puts them in the fire. And now his feet are on fire. And Pinocchio loves it. He's like, Papa, look, It's fire. It's nice and warm. Look how shiny my feet are. It's like, oh my god, what are you doing? It was like Sebastian's like somewhere on like a wooden beam, just going back and forth, like, oh god, oh god. And just puts him out in the water. It's like, oh no, look what you did. No, my feet are not nice and shiny anymore. It's like, yeah, but they're also gone. But yeah. And the Podesta says like, see, this is what no discipline does to this boy. You needed to put him into school. And that's what he does the next day. But first they go to sleepy times. I don't recall. Was there anything else in here that I forgot?
The relevant part in this scene is that in the scene of them going to bed is that Sebastian tells Pinocchio what happened to Carlo.
Oh, right,
He's like, oh, who's Carlo, right? Because he keeps it. I think it was mentioned before. It's like, oh, you're acting nothing like, or Carlo never like behaved like this, because of course they're not the same person. Which, I mean, even Geppetto, you know, he can recognize that to some extent, even though it's not what he wanted. But yeah, he asked what happened, and then Pinocchio is kind of asking the question of like, is dying bad? Because he doesn't actually know what it means for death. Like, it's just a concept he's unfamiliar with. And then I think Sebastian basically says like it's a burden for a father, like a great burden to lose their child, especially when they were so young.
Yeah, very important. And then he learns what being a burden means. That's like another good thing to be for someone. And that's going to be another payoff. It's
And then after that, like Sebastian writes a whole bunch about Pinocchio and Geppetto. He's even like, I didn't actually write about myself. Like, I wanted to write about them. I felt compelled to write about them.
I mean, this is
about
also what he
the
says.
Imperfect fathers and imperfect sons.
Yeah, that's what he says in the beginning. Like he meant to write his own story, but then it turned into his story. I think he says, right?
Pretty much. It organically turned into Pinocchio's story because that was the more that was kind of in the sense that, I mean, Sebastian's life kind of got more oriented around Pinocchio rather than what he initially wanted to do, and it turns out that did him a lot of good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, where does the hot chocolate go when he drinks it?
I thought about that, and I figured I stopped thinking about it in this movie.
And also,
this is a fantasy creature. Because maybe it goes down the thing. It's like, oh no, that's where Sebastian is. So yeah, I don't know.
He drowns in hot chocolate, and that's how Sebastian dies.
Oh no!
What a way to go! Rip.
It goes to the Deadlands.
Also, something interesting to note when he says he's starving to death, his nose does not grow. So I guess he does have to eat.
Oh wow.
Well, they head back into town, and the performers are in town.
Yeah, and we see Spazzaro. Oh God, can you just do other names that I can remember?
Spastic Mo.
I'm calling the monkey. That's
Spazzatura.
it. Just call him the monkey. Yeah.
Spazzatura.
That's right.
And yeah, we have the Vulpes circus, and they actually put the big old flyer sheet, whatever it is. They put it over the war
the fascist thing.
Thingy. Yeah.
You got to. That's right.
That's
right. It's a different focus right now in terms of this element of Pinocchio's life. By the way, you gotta to some extent show the shot of the monkey wandering through the circus, that unbroken shot that's got all the moving parts in it.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many things to see. There's a lot.
Yeah.
If I would have had time, I would probably looked at it even more. But we can just do it together now. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that great?
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like a 15-20 second long uninterrupted shot with a shit ton. I remember I once saw somebody say like, "Well, is a one take really that like impressive in animation? Like, isn't the whole thing with like a one take being impressive that it was something that had to be coordinated and then shot? Like, you know,
it's still coordinated people in real time."
Well, yeah, it's I think someone mentioned that in response to when people showed The Bad Guys has an uninterrupted opening shot. that lasts for about 3 minutes, and it's like, well, you know that like one animator didn't work on that, right? That was several animators, and they had to coordinate to make sure that, you know, whatever they animated transitioned right into the next thing that somebody animated. Of course, all the moving parts in those scenes too, like the amount of work. I wouldn't be surprised if like this whole shot took a few months to make. Just this shot. Like
this might be the one that took 3 months.
Yeah.
It could have, because it's not only obviously creating all of the props and setting it up and all of the environments, and then it's, you know, animating it, and of course all the prep work you would have done ahead of time to know where everybody's moving at exactly the right moment.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Metal, when you get to the big bearded man who's lifting the big weights, pause on him, because I have a little bit of trivia for him. Well, I guess I can just go into that right now, and we can
I'm just waiting
go on
for
him.
you guys to finish, because I'm at the beginning of that scene. It's happening now.
Yeah, look at him go.
I just wanted to add that Spazzataro. Did I say that right? I forgot already.
The monkey.
Yeah.
Spazzatura. There you go. I'll remember it when we're done. Sees Pinocchio is like, oh, that looks like a puppet, but there's like no strings. That's interesting. I should probably tell my boss about that, because he's all about them puppets with strings.
Yeah.
And Sebastian even notices the monkey at some point. But yeah, he's going all the way back. And I'm just gonna let VLC do its magic. Yeah, he's just kind of climbing over there. And, VLC, come on. Come on, man.
This is amazing. How did they do all those pixels?
It's not even fixing itself right now. I'm so mad.
Oh, there's weightlifting, man. So funny fact about that guy, he was meant to be the main villain. That was the original design that they had created for the main circus villain. But Del Toro was all like, I think that design's a bit too stereotypically villainous. I want you to swap it out with this other guy who I think is a bit more interesting as a villain look. So they turned, who was meant to be the main villain, into more of a background role, and they turned the background role into the main villain. So that was interesting to me.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
You can't really see his face because the weights are in front of it, but there he is.
You see him better a bit later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just moving around. Man, VLC does not like the scene. Jesus, that's really annoying. It just keeps being shit.
It just wants to fuck you repeatedly.
Yeah.
There we go.
The weight
Take
guy
a word for it, chat.
Is the main thing. Yeah, it's like people in the background just rolling some barrels as well. He's just jumping over them. It's a car, the weightlifter man. It's pretty cool. Then he gets to the thingy. So yeah, they got like this wheel going on. Someone sitting in the background, the guy lifting the weights, someone carrying something around.
Something that's cool about this shot is I'm pretty sure that they did like they did, obviously they made this shot, but they also did like a sort of what would you call it? It shows the behind the scenes of them like assembling everything, but like super duper sped up. So like you can see all of the animators. It's like the scene is playing out in real time. All the animators going real fast in each of the shots, like moving the characters around, and they did that too, and it's like, that's really cool.
That is pretty cool. I've seen some of those things in different scenarios. It's they can be quite entertaining to watch. A time lapse. Someone in chat just said it. That's probably what we're looking for.
Yeah, of course. That's time lapse. I'm stupid.
But yeah, we get to learn about Volpe. Volpe? You know,
Volpe is what I've been calling him.
And the monk is like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, can't you see we're doing so badly? What do you want? It's all so sad. And it's like, hey, there's this puppet that's just doing things without strings. It's kind of crazy. You might want to check that out. And he's like, without strings? That's crazy. That's exactly what I could use to get all the money I need and want.
Also, what's the wind speed like today? I don't want to take off.
And yeah, there's just more random characters. This guy with all the tattoos. And a chunky lady is just eating cake and popcorn. I guess those would be part of the freak show, as they called them back in the day, right?
Yeah. The only thing you're missing is the bearded lady.
Yeah, but I don't think we have one in here.
No. Instead, we have a fat woman, which would also be a novelty around this time.
Yeah. Also, the monkey can play the violin, apparently. And that's pretty cool.
So does Sebastian. He plays a violin, but a little cricket violin.
Yeah. Also, oh wait, Volpe sings some kind of song, but I forgot which one it is. I think it's just like, yay, we're gonna be the king. Oh, that he wants to be the king of the circus again or something, right?
Yeah, because radio and stuff is like more popular now, so no one's coming to the circus anymore.
Mm. Oh, there's the lift man. Yeah, look at him.
Yeah. So that was gonna be our. He was going to be Volpe, and the other guy was gonna be another attraction person, but they decided no, we're gonna do it the opposite.
Let's see. Yeah, he sings this little song. They like to do some songs in here. They're nice and short for the most part. Well made. And yeah, there's some. Yeah, they just putting up the tent, and oh man, that lady is chunky. Look at her.
This shot's smooth. I really like this shot
Yeah,
when
the
Volpe
tent.
comes running out of their tent. You know.
Oh yeah.
The tent going up looks real smooth, and then
Whoop.
that would have been real
There it
tough,
is.
I imagine. And then when he jumps out, look at him go.
Yeah.
Like it's just the animation's so smooth.
Yeah, it's great. It is grate, as they would say.
Yeah, she kind of looks like an obese woman who's also pregnant with 20 children.
Oh no. That's chunky for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that we go have some more scenes with Geppetto and Pinocchio, and Geppetto's finally fixed the crucifix with Jeebus on it. And Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's he's starting to like actually get back into doing things. He's starting to it's something that he probably doesn't even realize yet, is that simply by Pinocchio being around and going out into the world and being who he is, it's just invariably forcing Geppetto to start living again as well, to start doing things.
Yeah.
His life is improving, but he doesn't quite realize it yet.
He doesn't. Yeah, he hasn't seen yet what he got with this.
Well, it's because it's not what he wanted.
Yeah, because
it's not what he wanted, but
it's not Carlo.
It's actually what he needed, and he just doesn't see it yet.
Yeah, and he got a double kick in the ass from Pinocchio, actually, because remember, I think it was the fascist general guy who shouted, "Oh, you can create this abomination, but the church, but that crucifix remains unfinished for years now." You know, so it's like that double thing of like he feels motivated to do it, just through Pinocchio's presence, and Pinocchio's presence is putting pressure on him to finish the crucifix and get back into that rhythm. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And here's also where Pinocchio asks, hey, what's to do with this guy? Everyone likes him, and he's out of wood. Nobody likes me. Why? What's up with this fella? Who's that? What's with that Jeebus guy? What's up with him? And Geppetto is just like, oh, you know, people can be afraid of the unknown, and they get to know you and start to like you. And I think somewhere here he just kind of stops himself and is like, oh, but whatever, are you ready for school? And he's like, yeah, I'm ready for school. Whatever they do there, I love school. Obviously, he just says everything. He loves everything because he's just excited to find new things, to find out about new things. But I think it's kind of interesting that Geppetto just stops himself there instead of finishing the thought he has.
Yeah, because I think he's still trying to, he's like, "You're not my real son," sort of thing, and he's trying not to admit to himself that he needs time to warm up to Pinocchio and to acknowledge that Pinocchio might not be a bad thing. And I think this is the scene where, because Pinocchio was told by the cricket about Carlo before, and this is the scene where Pinocchio asks about Carlo and finds out just how special Carlo was to Geppetto, and makes the declaration of, "I will be a good boy just like Carlo." Yeah,
We'll obey and go to school.
fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. And
You can't woman fat meme. That's very cruel. You can't woman fat. Okay.
Right, and then Geppetto even gives him the study book or the school book that he gave to Carlo in the beginning of the movie. So that's actually a pretty important thing to him that he gives him there. It's like, here, this is a study book for school. You're probably gonna need that. And it's obviously very important to him. Would be a shame if something happened to that one that would make Geppetto upset. And he's like, "Well, I'm off to school. See ya, papa." He's like, "Yeah, whatever, go away."
Please supervise your child. Oh,
no, it's just a doll. We don't need that. He says it's gonna be just like Carlo, so he's gonna be a good boy. But we have the circus man. He's been watching them. He's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. I want it in the circus to make the money." That's a song I just made up. It doesn't fit as well. But yeah, he's about to go inside the school, and then he's like, "Hey, Sebastian, what's school? I don't even know what school is." And it's like, "Oh, it's just where they teach you how to like read and write and do multiplications." And it's like multiplication. I don't know what it means. I'm confused. I don't like school anymore. It just confuses me. It's like, oh, okay. But then Volpe arrives. It's like, "Hey,
I want wood."
Oh. How did I not expect that one? That's just.
I was gonna open the stream with it actually, but I forgot.
Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna open it by saying I got wood, but I forgot, and I only just remembered, so I had to shoehorn it in there. There where it goes.
Yeah.
The fisting is completed.
But yeah, he's like, "Hey, you just can just not go to school. You need to learn on your feet. You need to learn it's just out there." Obviously, he just wants him to perform so he can make mad bank. And even Sebastian's like, "No, use school. You said you told Geppetto you're gonna be a good boy and go to school." But it's now confusing school that I don't really like anymore because it confuses me versus, ooh, look at this fun stuff, and there's also hot chocolate and candy. Heck yeah.
Look, yeah, dude.
I'm definitely gonna do that. Like, I don't know the concept of good and bad people yet, so he sounds pretty chill. He sounds like he's having a good time with everyone. He gives me candy and stuff and hot chocolate, and we also heard is like, oh, he loves hot chocolate. Pinocchio is all about the hot chocolate. And
someone with a nose that size wouldn't lie, right?
No, he would never. Wait a minute. And yeah, he basically convinced him to come over. It's like, "Oh, maybe I can go to school tomorrow." Or no, Pinocchio says, "I can be a little late to school. That's fine." Obviously, in the background, we see the monkey trying to beat up Sebastian with the book, which he finally accomplishes before he can talk Pinocchio out of it, because he gets squished by the book, and then the monkey just puts the book on the floor. And they're off to the circus, and obviously not to school. And that's basically it. And next scene is the priest and Podesta. We're like, hey, your boy didn't go to school. It's like, that can't be. I'll send him there. He was on his way. It's like, well, he didn't go, so I assume you're gonna take care of that and he's gonna be there tomorrow. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll figure it out. And yeah, he's just he's just hanging out there in the trailer basically. He's like, oh man, I had so much food and hot chocolate and stuff. I should probably get going. And also he signed one of those not one of those, we only see that one contract. It's like this big contract is like huge and goes down the staircase, and he just signs with a little sun and a smiley face in it. And he's like, yep, that's perfect, that's fine. And yeah, he's just making him do the things, making him promises him to be the star of this show, and everyone's gonna like him. He's like, oh, that's actually that's exactly what I want. I want people to like me. And he just kind of dances for everyone, has some fun, and enjoys being the star of the show. And it was like, yay, Pinocchio, this is a great time.
Well, meanwhile, Geppetto is just like, where is he? Just trying to find him.
Where'd he go? That's crazy.
Count as a little crushed cricket.
Yeah.
Sebastian underneath the
Tell
book.
my story.
Yeah, and sees that the book is just kind of fucked up as well. It's like, no, my book.
No.
And it's like, oh no, a little cricket. He's like, carnival.
I would have been sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
Waiting for someone to come along and help him.
But yeah, he looks over to the carnival. It's like, wait, I remember this song, because Pinocchio is singing the song Carlo. No, not Carlo. That Geppetto sang to Carlo in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he wonders where he knows that song from. And is that ever conclude? I guess the implication is that he's kind of, I think they say he has a borrowed soul, right? So I guess the implication is there's somewhere there's Carlo's soul involved somehow, maybe?
I'm not sure that was what, because I'm not sure that's what they were going for.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just trying to
I'm not quite sure.
Figure it out, because
He's more a soul of some kind.
Yeah. Because that's why he goes to the carnival as well after he did that. He hears the song. It's like, how does he know that song? But I don't think it's ever brought up again, interesting enough. But yeah, he's just like, yay, everyone likes me, this is great. It's like, no, this is bollocks, we're gonna go now. And of course, Volpe is following us like, hey, we have a contract and everything. And
something that's worth noting though is that it's just like, I told you to behave like
right.
And then Pinocchio said Carlo. It's like, yes. It's just kind of, just one of those more clear references to what Geppetto wants. He wants him to be Carlo, essentially.
Yeah. And this is where he starts lying to him. It's like, but I did. There was bandits, 5 of them, and they attacked me, and there was candy everywhere. It's like, you shouldn't lie to me. What are you doing? It's like, no, I'm not lying to you, even though he is clearly lying to him, as you can see by the nose. And by the fact that this is just not what happened. It just gets quite a big, chunky, long nose with pine cones on it, even.
Yeah, it's an interesting depiction of the whole, when you lie, your nose gets bigger. In this case, it's like turning into a tree instead of just extending.
Yeah. I mean, we also have the dynamic here where all the children are like, oh, this is cool, the nose is growing, this is crazy. While Geppetto's like, no, this is bad. You're lying to me. I don't want you to lie to me. This is bad.
Yeah.
But Pinocchio's only looking at the children. It's like, look, they like this. This is awesome. This is great. It's like, no, we stop this right now. We're gonna go. And then they basically have a tug of war with Pinocchio in the middle. And well, he gets yeeted and crashes onto the street, and he gets run over by the Podesta, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And the wife. And yeah, Pinocchio died.
But then this introduces one of the major mechanics, something that up until this point I don't think was something that was like made clear. This was basically when it is made clear. Pinocchio can't die.
Yeah,
He kind of dies, but like he always comes back.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
we get the
we go into that. Oh, sorry.
oh yeah, just he dies, and then we get these Skella bunnies carrying his coffin on more coffins, and
Yeah, those skeletal bunnies are kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused by this version of the afterlife because it seems that you die, then you go into the afterlife where you're also dead.
Right.
So I'm a little confused about that, but there's not enough detail to really say much about it more than I just find it because when Pinocchio jumps out of the coffin, the bunnies find it very confusing that he's doing that rather than just staying there. So I'm just wondering how it all works in the grand scheme. But we're only getting like a small cross section of the afterlife, I suspect. So I'm not going to pick up that apart too much. Just thought I would note that.
Yeah, they put them in on the wall somewhere and just start playing cards. And Pinocchio's already like, "Hey, what's going on out there? What is going?" And he just gets out. It's like, "Hey, I'm not dead." It's like, yeah, just a little.
It's boring in here. I hate being dead.
I hate being dead. Yeah. And then it's like, "Oh, now you've done it. Well, go to the boss over there." It's like, "Alrighty, I'm gonna go." Yeah. Not a lot to do for them, considering how many people die and
Well, that's why they play cards, you know? They're
Yeah.
just there's not that much going on for them. Maybe there's other rabbits that go off and
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, now
they have
we
a rabbit shareholder meeting every month.
yeah. Yeah, he goes in there and we meet another one of the spirits. This one seems to be in charge of, well, the afterlife.
Yeah, it's another. This one is basically the angel of death. So the other one represents life. This one represents death. And this one is actually another biblically accurate angel, though of a different design, because there are multiple designs described in the Bible. So this is another one of them, which is kind of cool. And something really cool about the angel of death, if you look at her tail, it's got snakes, but they put a pine cone texture on it so that it represents all life and all death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and to keep the pine cone theme going.
Yeah, cool design as well. It's like big. It's like the angel thing and like a chimera as well. It's like it's pretty cool. I'm gonna put through it on screen. It's cool stuff. It's really good. And yeah, she basically like, well, oh, you're the boy that shouldn't be alive with with a borrowed soul. This is where she says borrowed soul. And she basically tells him, well, you shouldn't be alive. You should basically be as alive as a chair or a broom. And, well, because you're not really alive, you cannot die. But you will die many times, actually. But every time you do die, you end up here, and you have to wait for an hourglass to run out. And every time you die, it's going to take longer and longer. And as soon as the hourglass runs through, you just get sent back. And
I like to think she made all that up just so she wouldn't be lonely in there.
And yeah, this one is really quick because Pinocchio is about to ask, question, probably like, how does this work? What is going on? But before he can even do that, he's like, well, time's up. He just goes back.
Yeah, this is because we go back here a couple more times, and each time we get more of the. This one is much more like the mechanics. The next times are more about what this would mean to a person.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think the next time is when he's like, oh, this is awesome. Right?
Right, it's like, is it Ro?
Yeah,
Is
is
it
it
really?
though?
You know.
But yeah, he gets sent back. They're actually at the doctor's place right now. And the doctor's like, oh, I cannot really do anything. He's stiff and everything. And Geppetto's like,
Like he was stiff before.
he's better at what? He's always stiff. But then he wakes up at some point. It's like, oh my god, he cannot die. That's crazy. And
Like, all I can think is he could have been unconscious as far as you know, dude. You're jumping the gun a little bit.
But yeah, it's like, well, you gotta go back to the circus. And Geppetto's like, no, we're not gonna do that. Well, we have a contract. If you don't come back, you owe us 10 million lire, which is obviously a ridiculous amount of money, especially back
Especially
in the
at that
day.
time.
Uh,
Yeah.
And
The Great Depression, maybe not as much as we think.
Yeah, and the Podesta says, no, he seems to be... What was that?
That was my alarm. One
okay.
second.
Confused me. Podesta's like, no, he's a child. He needs to go to school and stuff. Also, he's clearly immortal. Therefore, he's going to be the best soldier ever. So we need to send him to a youth camp and make him a soldier and go to war because he can't die. It's amazing. And yeah, well, they all try to figure that out. Geppetto's like, yeah, we'll probably speak tomorrow. And they just leave. And yeah, they just I think this is where they just kind of walk through the woods a bit. And this is where Geppetto kind of blows up at Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's just like, you're not... I made you to be like Carlo, like, why aren't you like him?
You're nothing like him.
And then Pinocchio's like, well, I'm not Carlo. And then that's the point where Geppetto says, like, you're a burden. Like, you're such a burden.
Yeah.
Which, hearing that, it's like, oof, that's, yeah, that was a really bad thing to say to him. Because it basically instills in his mind, like, the goal that he embarks on for a large portion of the movie from this point onward.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a burden. Geppetto also points out that you destroyed the study book and everything. Like, this is nothing like I imagined that this is, you're such a burden, as he said. And even Sebastian is like, oh man, that's not who...
His nose didn't grow. Oh.
Yeah, exactly, because they talk in the night. It's like, man, his nose didn't grow. He meant it. And this is where Sebastian tells him, it's like, hey, every father loves his son. And sometimes they say things, sometimes they grieve like we do. And in due time, they realize what they said at the time. They didn't really mean it.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting wrinkle to the Pinocchio story because it's not a lie. The nose thing isn't a lie, as in false, as in an objective falsehood, but instead a lie from the perspective of the person, meaning that if someone has the nose growing thing and their nose doesn't grow, that doesn't mean that what they're saying is truthful, but it just means that they believe what they're saying. Which is interesting. Right. Which is an interesting distinction I found to make.
Yeah, and then Pinocchio, after hearing this, like, ooh, I got an idea. I don't want to be a burden, so I'm just gonna go to the circus and send money back here, so I don't have to be a burden, and that way I also don't need to go to war. So this is a great plan. I'm just gonna write this note, and all he does is like the sun again, because he actually, of course, he doesn't know how to write.
And then traps Sebastian under a glass.
Yeah, I was about to say, he tries to stop him, he puts it under glass, and puts the hammer on top of it. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, he has to Toy Story his way out.
Yeah. Yeah, and he leaves. It's like, oh no, I need to somehow stop him. And he just kind of pushes the glass.
No, wait, stop him back.
And yeah, Pinocchio just gets it's like, oh, it's my star. It's like, yeah, if I come with you, you're gonna stop wanting that money, and also you send my share of the profits to my papa. And he's like, oh, sure, 50-50, ha ha ha. It's clearly not a lie. He's a very honorable man, okay? It's like, all right, we got a dealio, and he rings the balleroonie, and they're off. They're gone now. And Sebastian is freeing himself. Well, he tries, but unfortunately the hammer lands him eventually. So he's lying squished somewhere again for hours. That poor guy.
It's Sebastian. He's the real immortal. Because my God,
he's a
everything he
trooper.
survives.
He is a trooper.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he tells him like, oh, he's gonna go to the carnival, and then they go to the place, and he finds a little flyer where he goes. He knows where to go, and all while he's seeing what's happening, Geppetto is. Sebastian is kind of like, man, you were a real dick to Pinocchio, man. What you said was not real nice. It's always like, oh, I feel so bad. Maybe you should just, he loves you unconditionally. Maybe you should see that he's good enough the way he is, and not just be like a prick to him. But he doesn't even answer. He sees where they go next, and he's already on his way. He's following the circus.
Well, yeah, it's just as soon as Pinocchio is gone, he instantly realizes that
like,
something is amiss.
I
don't even think he really needs Sebastian to tell him that. He knows that this isn't what he wanted.
I mean, he
wasn't doesn't appreciate it until it's gone.
Yeah, he wasn't even really listening to him. He's just trying to like, oh man, I've really cocked this one up, and now I'm gonna need to follow him and get him back. And yeah.
But yeah, the circus has moved on, so he has to now travel across the country.
Yeah, and
to,
now
to find him.
Yeah, and then we get I think it's just a montage, right? Yeah, because he basically Geppetto's always like one step behind, like they just left, or he just sees them leave on the boat. All while Pinocchio is singing about he has to say goodbye to his papa. It's like, oh,
yeah,
big sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad actually.
Yeah.
It's because it's just this is not Pinocchio doesn't like this. He actually doesn't like this.
No.
It's kind of like in this desire to essentially this is more or less the moment that he's doing what he was told he was supposed to do, which is essentially like live in this way to, because that's what other people wanted you to do. But it's kind of like obviously it's a misunderstanding, right? Because it makes Geppetto like really sad.
Yeah.
But it's just this arrangement is bad. It's not what he wants to do. This isn't who he is. Yeah.
By the way, I just saw look at Sebastian's little umbrella there. That's cute as fuck.
Oh. Best part is he probably doesn't need it because he's right under Geppetto's umbrella as well. He's just doing it for style points.
Yeah, he's just trying to get to him now. And Pinocchio is doing this. People love it, but he is more like, oh, this kind of sucks actually. But I think this is the right thing to do right now. Also, the monkey is jealous. He's not a happy monkey.
Poor Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. Oh, also in the montage we see that the Podesta guy, he sends his own son to
it kind of works up to the
youth school. Youth camp, yeah, which he apparently heads as well. So because we see him soon, and
the youth.
The shows they're not like really normal shows anymore. They now kind of have become war propaganda. It's like, yeah, we're going to war. This is awesome. War is great. We love war here. War is pretty good. And the children was like, yeah, war, let's go. Go shoot some people. It's gonna be awesome.
Fuck yeah. Gonna shoot them in their brains. Boom.
Yeah, and just all in this montage, we just see him, Pinocchio would like be exhausted and not happy with what's going on. And it finishes with Geppetto just seeing the carnival leave on the boat. And he's like, damn, I need to go over there. And and it's like just a conversation between Volpe and Pinocchio. Is like, you probably better don't forget sending all that cash to my papa. He's like, oh, I would never. It's 50-50. And well, Pinocchio looks away after transportation cost and blah, blah, blah. It's just like it's like a couple of coins left.
Yeah, because Volpe is a jerk.
He's a real big jerk. And we also
What, with that nose?
He would never lie with his...
Even the monkey's like, doesn't like that. He's
Yeah,
just still looking at that and going like, that's, I don't know about that one, buddy.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked up, not gonna lie.
And we also learned...
Also, did we highlight the newspaper thing, by the way? That was really funny.
The small Dulce.
Yeah. I think it was like at the beginning of the music montage thinking about it.
Yeah, it was like somewhere in there for sure. It was like, hey, this next show, this is like the final show of this tour. We're gonna perform for the Il Dulce himself. Like, we're actually pretty good friends, and he just shows a picture where it's like in front of the, I don't know, the building he lives in or something, and it's like, he's right back there, and you can't even see him. It's like, see, we did a picture. So yeah, he desperately wants to impress the Dulce. Then we see Geppetto going to the seaman, or the seaman, like you would like to hear meme. I just said that for you.
I'm so happy you did. I think I even have in my notes. What do I have it listed as? No, wait, did I? No, I think I initially had it as Geppetto meets the seaman, but then I changed it to Geppetto consumed. Okay, never mind. Singles here.
Yeah, and he's like, please get me over the Gulf. My son is over there. He's in the carnival. I need to see him. I give you all I have. Is like a couple of coins, and basically just begs him. And the seaman is like, this is suicide. There's like a big ass monster there. You don't want to go there. And then even Sebastian's like, oh, it's just legends. You're full of shit. And it's like, no, it's true, but please go over there. It's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. You seem to be very desperate. So they're off over the Gulf, back with Volpe and the monkey and the Pinocchio. Pinocchio's like, oh man, I'm exhausted as shit. Can I have like a rest? Like just a couple of minutes, just 5 minutes. He's like, fine, 3 minutes. But you need to get your shit together, get all those moves in. And this is where the monkey tries to persuade Pinocchio's like, hey, he's just using you. He doesn't even like you. You know that monkey is the big star, not you. You're just being used. He's like, no, I'm not. He likes me. I'm the star. You shut up. So he actually fails to persuade him, which actually kind of surprised me. I thought he would actually fall for it.
Yeah. Something that was interesting to me was like, wait, the monkey can talk? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
But also, Volpe sees that the monkey is doing that, and he's not happy about that, as we can see pretty soon. Then we bear witness to a tragic death of a seagull, who just lands on the sea mine, and well, the button goes down, and we get a wide shot, and boom. It's like, oh no, that poor seagull. He was trying to chill somewhere.
Oh no.
But yeah, because of the war, there's sea mines everywhere, and they're just kind of making their way over the Gulf. And it's like, yeah. And the seaman is even like, merp, merp, after the seagull explodes.
Riposare in pace.
And yeah, they're just kind of going, and all of a sudden, big monster appears. And then the seaman does this. He just goes, arrivederci, and just
Yeah, and just
He
shoots himself off the boat.
Also, I found a better visual for Seaman.
Yeah. That one made me really laugh when I first saw it. I was like, that's great. He just swims back home. It's like, I'm out of here. See ya. And yeah, he gets swallowed whole.
Hey, Metal, you should do a playthrough of the Dreamcast game Seaman.
Just for the meme.
Yeah. Also, they look like that. So,
Hang on. I think I've seen that picture before.
Yeah, it's a pretty memey game. Not gonna lie.
Hang on, chat. I'll show you. So apparently, these things are in there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a virtual pet simulator where you need to nurture your semen until it turns into a frog.
Look at this.
And it talks.
Face. It's like.
Nurture your semen.
Yeah. You gotta feed them.
Or it will die.
Can I feed them? Can I feed the semen?
The limits are only your imagination. Oh, and I think you can use the microphone attachment to talk to it directly.
Oh my god. That's kind of freaky.
Yeah, you've got to tell your semen that it's a good big boy that's going to do big boy things.
Oh no.
Make your seaman, erect with promise.
I remember PewDiePie playing that game, just dying laughing. That sounds fun. Actually, I think I need to find that that playthrough. That sounds funny.
Yeah.
Right. Where did my notes go? There you go. Yeah, he's just now in the monster flim flam, and the big show is up, and Pinocchio witnesses the abuse of Monkey, and he doesn't like that a little bit. He's just like, man, that's kind of screwed up. He's like, hey,
mean.
Stop that. He's like, stop that. And he's like, this is no concern of you. You're the star. You better go train your stuff. And Pinocchio is standing up for the monkey, who is actually not fond of Pinocchio. But he's like, hey, I'm the star here. I won't let you treat my co-star like this. And if you don't do that, I'm gonna leave. I'm the star. You can't do anything without me. And Volpe is like, listen here, you little shit. I think you misunderstand our relationship. And he's starting to become very threatening. He even gets his sword out of his cane there and just swings it around. It's like, here, you're the puppet. I'm the master. You're the slave. And he just even cuts off a little bit of his nose. And yeah, you better get ready for your thing, because you ain't gonna do shit against me.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking like, Volpe, I think you forget that this puppet is immortal.
Yeah, but Pinocchio's still afraid, so it still works.
Well, no, he can still hurt him to the point
Yeah.
he's incapacitated.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah, and then cuts off some of his nose, and Monkey's even looking sad at him. He's like, oh man, you just helped me and you got part of your nose cut off. I'm starting to feel sorry they was so mean to him. In the meantime, we just see Geppetto and just Sebastian chilling in the belly of the beast pretty much, and just getting some fish. And they're like, yay!
And all I can think is,
we're so lucky, we got some fish. And it's like, man, you're like really happy about this. This is crazy.
And also, that's some weak ass stomach acid. God damn.
Yeah. Good. And now we see
like
the
the
Dolce arrive. The Dolce in his really long car.
You think he's compensating for something?
No. Otherwise, he's really big. Oh, actually, no, he's not. He's really small. It's actually fine. I'm gonna stop on the frame. He gets lifted out by the driver. He's so small. Look at him. He's like
I like the puppet.
I like the puppet. Oh, he's hilarious. He says like 3 things in the movie, and they're all kind of funny. I like the puppet. It's good stuff.
He's only a head higher than the child. It's great.
Yeah.
And that's the shortest child as well.
Yeah. And do a little salute there, and everyone's like, woohoo, salute. And it's like, I like the puppet.
Yeah, Mussolini, yeah.
Woo. And then we go backstage. Pinocchio's like, hey, we're gonna do something real special for this one. And he just kind of whispers in his ear, and the monkey's like, fuck yeah, that sounds great. And
fuck him up.
Yeah, basically he calls the Dolce a poopy head. A big old poop. That's basically that's the gist of it. Yeah. If you're watching, if you can't tell, this is like the portion of the movie where it's just we go along the lines, just getting people where they need to be. I guess there's not that much like symbolism going on here. We're just moving on with the plot.
Poopy head is very symbolic.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I think one of the puppets is a poop as well. For some reason, I didn't even notice that the first time watching this. Look
I just love that they were able to. They had such a good turnaround time for sabotaging this performance. It was great.
Oh yeah, they're very effective. They were very effective. And it's like, yeah, war is poopy. There's poopy everywhere. They even have like brown smears on the picture. But yeah. It's like, you poopy. And the reaction from the Dolce is, I don't like these puppets. Shoot it and burn this place down. It's like, god damn.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Go number 2.
And he's like, it's me again. He's back in the afterlife. And this is the next part that's really interesting to talk about, I think. Because he goes back to the sprite, and he's like, oh man, you should have seen me. I've done all these crazy things. I got shot, I escaped fire and stuff. I'm the luckiest boy alive. And the sprite is basically, well, are you really though? I mean, you're immortal, but everyone around you isn't. It's like, huh? What do you mean? I don't understand. It's like, well, while you live on, everyone else around you is gonna die, because with infinite life comes infinite sorrow, I think was the quote, somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, eternal life, eternal suffering.
Yeah, that's the one. And it's like, man, yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, he's just like, oh. He's trying to let that sink in. I don't think he has fully understood yet.
No, not quite yet. He doesn't get to fully understand what it means. It's just because he's learning all these concepts really, like, for the first time each time, and it's just, him essentially having to figure it out without enough time to fully figure it out.
Yeah.
Because, like, something he even says right about, because when she's talking about, like, life is pain, it's like, oh, it's not so bad, like, I get beat up every now and then, but, like, I'll
come around.
I'll just get back and go back to Papa.
Exactly.
It's like, well, sure, unless you don't see him again, and I mean, that's always a possibility. It's kind of like he has to gradually be learning about the notion of, like, time being linear, and that as time progresses, things will change and people will die. That things won't just persist as they do, like, always, even though he does.
Yeah. One thing that just pops out to me is just like, hey, the last time you saw someone, that might have been the final time you've seen someone, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that one hit me because I lost 2 people last year, so it was like, you just don't know how much time you have with people. Exactly.
So yeah, just trying to explain to him what this whole immortality thing is about, and just not quite there yet, but that's gonna happen at some point. And he goes back now to the normal life, and he wakes up in a truck with the Podesta now, who's like, "Ha! I knew you're immortal," and they're already on the way to the youth camp.
There's yet another person who wants to basically use him to just bring about his own end, regardless of how he feels about it.
Yes.
He just has to keep dealing with these people.
Yeah, and just goes along with it because for one, he doesn't really have a choice, and he also doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah,
because he's
pretty
just
much.
you see all these children just doing their training, and he's like, "Oh, great! There's all these people I can meet. That's pretty cool." Is kind of the notion he goes with. And
yeah, almost like basically trying to find the good in any situation.
Yeah.
Even though obviously this situation is particularly grim.
Yeah.
And then they all go to bed. It's like, who here is scared? And everyone's like, not me, sir. And then Pinocchio's like, yeah, me, I'm scared. When he realizes no one else is like, oh, yeah, no, I guess I'm not scared. Okay. Because like, oh, yeah, by the way, there was news about bombers being in the vicinity. So you're not scared. It's fine. You might be children, but you got the heart of men. And then he just leaves them for sleepy times. And then we get the conversation between Volpe and Candlewick. I think I got that name right this time.
Pinocchio and Candlewick.
Pinocchio, yeah. God damn it. I like how I got the names right, but this was one of the wrong ones. So yeah, it's like, hey, you not scared? It's like, no, I'm not scared. I'm looking forward to war. War is great. And it's like, yeah, but my papa says war is bad. It's like, well, then your
papa's not
is
here,
a
is he?
coward. It's like, my papa, he's not a coward. He's shut up. And
That's semen, though.
And he's like, oh, I'm gonna show my dad. He's gonna like me. And Pinocchio, using what he learned from Sebastian, tells him the same thing he got told. It's like, hey, every father loves his son. They say something in the heat of battle, and that they probably don't really mean when they look back on it. So yeah, don't worry about it. He's gonna come around at some point. So maybe don't try so hard to appease him all the time. Is probably the gist of the message here. And yeah, they kind of become friends through that. At least friendly. Made a new friendo. So yeah, they have like, they even have like a little pillow back and forth. It's like, oh look, they are children, but there's also war going on, so that sucks. And yeah, again, Pinocchio's like, I don't even know what's going on here, but I'm just gonna do the thing. And yeah, the next day they have like a little training thing. It's like, you gotta be 2 teams. I think it's just red and blue or something.
Red and yellow.
Yeah, red and yellow? Okay. It's like, your goal is, you see that tower? You need to put your flag up there. Whoever gets there first wins. And remember, no matter who you look, the other color is your enemy. And they get like basically paintball guns and some grenades that do confetti apparently. And yeah, they just basically play war. I really like the way they did this. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Because it just starts with them like being like childlike, and he looks at his dad and he's like, you better look over there. And Pinocchio's like, hey, friend, what's going on? Because the Candlewick and Pinocchio are in different teams. And yeah, the way when they get shot, they kind of fall over like they got actually shot, like they kind of limp back down, and then after they hold their faces, like, ow. It's pretty well made.
Unicorn horn grenades.
And yeah, it's basically trench warfare with the goal to get to that tower first. And yeah, you see like things in the background, they kind of shoot at each other. You see those confetti grenades go up. It's yeah, there's a lot of detail here again. There's probably another shot that probably took a month or two to get done.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's quite nuts. There's multiple characters running. There's things in the background. You have confetti. There's paint.
And the lights as well. All the lights moving around. That's
I was
what you
about
got
to
to keep
say,
track of.
And
the spotlights would be probably difficult, yeah.
Basically means like every frame probably took like hours to set up and get it right. But yeah, it's quite something to look at if you know it's stop motion. It's crazy. Yeah, there's also I guess the snow is probably going to be CG'd in. I would imagine.
I would imagine, yeah. I would imagine that was added in afterwards.
Imagine if that wouldn't have been the case. That would be insane. I don't even know how that would work.
Specifically trying to animate each time, separated by hours between the setup, each of the little particles.
Yeah, that would be. They'd have to like do the thing where they have a ghost frame over the frame they're animating.
Right.
So it would be a huge pain.
But then once they get up there, the two of them basically fight over their flags, and they end up switching flags inadvertently.
Yeah.
So like Pinocchio gets the yellow one, and then Candlewick gets the red one. It's kind of just emphasizes just how arbitrary all of this really is to these kids.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, sure, like yellow, but like it's just flags. Like who cares?
Yeah,
just kind of like the sort of the perspective of these kids of like, well, it doesn't matter though, right? Like it's all arbitrary. It doesn't change the fact that Pinocchio over there is my friend and Candlewick over there is my friend, and it's just like this game that we're playing. And then they basically just like, yeah, well, we both won. We both got here at the same time. And then it just clashes very heavily with like the perspective of the Podesta, like, and the adults in this world.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's not how this works. Like, you don't get to view it this way. It's just like a fun little game where like there's actually no difference between the two of you, you know, and you're just people. Like, that's not allowed.
Yeah. Something funny I thought when they grabbed the flag from each other is just one of them was going to go, I'm going to dump your flag over the edge. Eat shit. I'm going to... But the yellow team does absolutely win because it is on top. So it reaches the top first. So
it doesn't matter. You had to grab the thing to like put your flag up there. So that, you know, and they decided, hey, you know what? We both won, really.
Yeah, it's a tie. We put
it
together.
That's nice and chill and cool.
Yeah, I'm mostly joking there.
No, of course.
So yeah, they go to the Podesta, to his dad, and it's like, oh, it was a tie. It was great. Yeah, we both won. It's like, oh, did you know? Here, take your glory. Shoot your friend in the face with a real gun. I was like, holy shit. What's wrong with that guy? Obviously, he's probably just thinking, oh, this is just an immortal puppet. Who gives a shit? He's just going to come back even if you shoot him in the face. I just want to see if my son has the guts to do it because I want him to be a hard man for war. A war machine. Not like that meme. God damn it.
You set that one up.
I did. And yeah, then the bombers arrive that they mentioned earlier. And it's like, I need you to shoot your friend in the face. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And he basically like, I know I'm weak and fickle and flimsy, but I don't need to do this. I'm going to refuse. I'm not going to shoot my friend in the face. I don't have to do this one. I refuse. Basically realizing, man, I've been trying so hard and it didn't work, so whatever. I'm just going to refuse now. What's the worst that can happen? And yeah, for his bravery against his father, he gets thrown into the trenches basically, and he's gonna shoot Pinocchio, I think, or did he mean to shoot his son? I don't think he did, right?
I think he meant to shoot.
No, he's aiming at Pinocchio. I see it just now. But there's a little paintball gun down there, and they're like kind of nodding at each other, and the son shoots his father in the face with it, and he's like, ah, dang, and just kind of falls into like a climbing net.
Yeah, he gets wrapped in it.
He gets a bit tangled in it, and then we just see a bomb fall, and I think the implication is he just straight up got exploded.
Oh, I don't even know if it's an implication. He's dead.
He is dead, yeah.
He's absolutely dead.
Yeah, I say implication because you don't see it, but I think
it's
that's
just
what they were
the
going
destroyed
for.
hat, but it was on his head. So yeah, he's done.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the
just,
sun survived that, to tell you the truth, considering Pinocchio gets blown right out of the
gets
building.
yeeted.
Yeah.
He got yeeted. And apparently this did not kill him, which surprised me because I'm just confused what the mechanics of his body is now. Because he gets
We
exploded.
got run over by a car compared to falling like what 100 feet off of a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should
have eaten crayfish.
Yeah, and also for some reason Volpe and the monkey are here, and I don't even know where they are right now precisely. So he's just here now, and it's like, you're gonna pay now. Finally, I found you. It's like, okay.
Well, it may well be if you followed them, right?
Yeah, I guess
it would
so.
have been there at the carnival, that they would have seen Pinocchio get picked up by the Podesta.
Yeah. Now that we did the payoff with the sun and the Podesta, it's time for the monkey payoff. Because Volpe puts him on a cross like Jeebus.
Where he's gonna burn him at the stake.
Burn him at the stakes, like you're gonna pay. And it's kind of funny because when this started happening with the dinosaur, like what happens if you just destroy his whole body? What happens then? It's just an interesting thing to think about mechanically.
It becomes a cloud of ashes that flies throughout the world and gets into people's lungs. I'm gonna snort myself some Pinocchio, Pinocchio crack. For Crackio.
Damn it, you were faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, he starts burning with the stake, but the monkey is like, that's actually kind of messed up. I'm gonna help him. He helped me as well. I think I should probably start standing up for myself because this guy is pretty evil and he's been mistreating me, and now this guy who stood up for me, I'm gonna help him now, whatever that might cost. And yeah, he just kind of he gets him out of the fire and then attacks Volpe, which has the effect of them all falling down into the water.
Well, Volpe's not ready for that. He was totally unprepared for the monkey to fight him.
He tries to kind of slash him, but it's not working at all.
No. And then, they go tumbling off a cliff.
Yeah, and Volpe
he hits the rocks.
Yeah, he gets the shit stick of the shit end of the stick. He just crashes right into those rocks. And the whole thing is exploding, and Pinocchio gets yeeted down as well. And now they're floating in the water.
If I snort up immortal boy wood, does I is immortal too?
Maybe you get just immortal wood. It just doesn't go away.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Is this Viagra? Is that how Viagra was made? By ground up Pinocchio juice?
Pinocchio. Yeah. I'll say, wait, I can pop up when he crashes into the rock. It looks kind of crazy. Ooh.
Also, Pinocchio can feel pain now, even though the fire didn't hurt him before. I just found that interesting. I guess it's like a perception thing where he knows the fire is bad now. So I don't know, something like that. Also, there was cracks that you could hear, like all of Volpe's bones breaking on the way down, which is like, it's just like no stay alive moan or anything, just like pure dead.
Look at this. Oh, look at the way his arm is. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, hi VLC.
Yeah. There's almost a bone coming out as well. Oh, that's nasty.
Oh my god. That kind of calls back to like Animaniacs and stuff, where they would just have one extremely gruesome frame and then it would go back to normal.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty brutal. You can definitely feel the impact. I remember when I was watching it, it's like, it's like, oh god. But yeah, now they're just floating. And they're like, hey, look, there's an island over there. But of course, the island is the big monster.
People snorted ground mummy dust to get horny? Wow.
Cool.
The chat is full of many wonders. Like, a kid then snorts Pinocchio, so that's how he becomes a real boy.
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get swallowed by the big monster as well, and of course that leads to them I'm just missing the word.
Reuniting with Geppetto and
Exactly.
the cricket.
Yeah,
which I mean,
reuniting.
yeah, like this is, man, good thing it was here, you know, like
Yeah.
good thing the whale was here.
Exactly. And yeah, there's like, hey, we're here. This is great. It's like, I mean, we can't really get out, but they're really happy to see each other. It's a good time. They're like, ooh, let's hang out. Also, Sebastian gets smooshed because he's in between him and Pinocchio, and it's like, love hurts.
Even when love happening, suffering must as well.
Yeah.
But only for Sebastian.
So yeah, he's just they're just doing some fishies. Sebastian is playing his little cricket violin.
As you do when you're a cricket.
Yeah.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah.
And we see that the creature just straight up swallowed a lighthouse at some point.
Yeah, and it landed perfectly there. Meme, how excited are you for this frame? Exactly, this frame.
You have no idea, like the anticipation, like the notes I have, the imagery I was able to evoke with this scene in my notes. You know, I rewrote the title of this section in my notes when they said what this thing is, and I was able to get a lot of. I'm going to traumatize chat, Metal. I hope you realize with this.
Fringy, cover
I'm
your
going to
ears.
traumatize them. Oh God, it's so Metal. Do you want to say what this thing is? What this beautiful orifice is? This.
Sebastian is like looking up there. He sees the smoke going somewhere, and it goes straight out of the blowhole.
Fuck yes! But initially, before he said blowhole, I wrote in my notes, anus.
No, that's not an anus.
Yeah, that's the opposite end. It's at the opposite end, which means this thing, even though it looks like a fish, it is in fact a mammal. Yeah. Which is conveniently right next to the lighthouse as well, which is pretty swish.
It's pretty helpful.
And I think once he said blowhole, this is the first thing I wrote. So like the blowhole. The blowhole, 10 out of 10 film, 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10.
Oh my God. Very excited about the blowholes.
Yeah, but then we see it from the outside.
Oh my. It's I've never seen a blowhole quite like this.
Yeah, we see it from the outside. We see the blowhole from the outside. First we see the internal blowhole.
There it is.
The clenching blowhole. But now we see the sneezing blowhole on the outside.
There it is. Looks like Looks like a weird mouth going like.
Yeah, I think my what is my description here? It is it looks like an infected elephant trunk.
Yeah, kind of does. Nice to see some blowhole representation for a change.
Yeah, and then I think I went. This is the grossest looking blowhole I've ever seen. And, you know, I've seen many a blowhole in my time. I've seen someone draw me with a blowhole, and this is still the blowiest hole of them all. And it does something else later on that I think is going to be beautiful. It's going to be symbolic. It's going to bring the film together thematically. It's going to stitch everything together in a beautiful, clenching tapestry of pure squirming goodness, but we will get there.
He covered his ears. Yeah, he muted. He's like, I'm good. I'm good.
It looks like a gross, crusty sock puppet.
Oh no.
Oh, it's like a sock puppet. Like it's someone's cum sock that someone then turned into a sock puppet later.
That's a pretty stiff puppet.
Yeah. You know, crusty. You know, the flakes are falling off as it talks.
Oh boy. Oh no. I don't like.
We still haven't gotten to the part that I am most proud of in my notes here.
No.
But we have to get through the escape, the running through the urethra, the blowhole urethra, the blowrethra. There we go.
Jesus Christ, baby, you're making me look like a Christian. That's strong words from Swole. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. Glow under the black light, of course.
But yeah, the blowhole is actually quite important to how they get out of here. Because the best's like, ooh, I got the plan. I know what to do. It's like, get to the blowhole, everyone. To the lighthouse next to the blowhole. And yeah, basically the idea is, you know what?
Do not blow.
He's like, Pinocchio, do a lie. It's like, why would you do that? It's like, oh, I hate you, Papa, and hate you too, monkey. And it's like, wow, it's so mean. And then he realized, like, oh, shit, that's a great idea, actually. Yes, lie for the only time. It's fine. Say all the lies. Like, yeah, I love war. War is great. Oh, I like being in the monster. This is fantastic. I don't want to go home at all. And he...
I'm not wearing ladies' underwear.
I'm not waiting. And doesn't grow.
Actually, something to point out here, I forgot to mention it earlier, is I love how it doesn't just grow, it actually starts sprouting different leaves. And I think I even wrote in my notes at some point, like, he's going to be a tree again by the end of this.
But yeah, they basically create a bridge from the big nose stick they created. And yeah, they kind of balance themselves over there, and it's only Pinocchio left, who at some point just rips it off.
Yeah, and then he climbs across his own nose.
Yeah, that's quite a feat. You can't put that on your bucket list. That's important. It's impossible.
Yeah, man, like Pinocchio, he has gifts that he must offer the world, like climbing his own nose.
He does well with that.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting, like, to be serious before the moment. Oh my goodness,
God.
We're already kind of getting. but before we get to the beauty that is this moment, I would like to point out the symbolism of of Pinocchio lying to get out of that situation, because it points out that sometimes a little bit of lying is okay in certain situations. Sometimes it's necessary for survival, and that's kind of a little bit of nuanced symbolism there. But I liked it. But of course, then we get to this moment, as they start stimulating the inside of the orifice, the thing begins to notice, and it begins to start clenching, and it begins to just start going in and out a little bit, just retracting and then pulling back, just squeezing in and then pulling out, as its fluids release out the upper exit hole. But then Geppetto and Pinocchio fall. But then there's an updraft and they're fine. And then, oh no, more fluid starts to come out at the end as it squeezes. It clenches and squeezes as it approaches climax.
Oh, God. Why did you say climax? Oh.
And with this ejaculatory sneeze, the theme of rebirth is complete.
Rebirth. Why do I still invite you to these?
Because where else would you have that sentence be said? Ever?
Nowhere else. Oh God. So yeah.
The aristocrats.
So yeah, they get yeeted out of the blowhole because they've been tickling the blowhole too much, and they land in the water. And Pinocchio's just kind of climbing up a mine, making sure he's not activating any of the things. I woke up to this. See, this is quality content right here.
And, yeah, goddamn right.
Yeah. Don't worry, Chad. There's gonna be more. There's gonna be serious things very soon. All right. We just like to have fun as well before we get confronted with the dangers of life and all the sad things. Okay. We're gonna talk about blowholes for a bit to reset. All right.
Yeah, we have to enjoy our ejaculatory sneezes while they last.
Yeah.
You know.
Some rebirth and stuff. Some tingling of the blowholes just has to happen sometimes. So yeah. They're just all chilling outside now, but Pinocchio gets eaten immediately, but he's getting eaten with a sea mine, which is now dangling in the throat of the monster. And the monster is eager to swallow the monkey and Geppetto as well. He's just going for it, and they're just doing this little cartoonish thing where the monkey is using his tail as like a like a motor. He goes like. Yeah, Pinocchio notices the sea mine and he just goes down there as planned. Oh yeah, there's another like comic thing. He swims up the waterfall in the monster's throat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's doing the motions and he's just slowly getting back up.
It looks kind of funny. He's like whoop whoop whoop. But yeah, his plan is activate the mine and go down because I from what he says. When he comes back to the afterlife, it's like, oh, why now? So I think he meant to survive this. He thought he would maybe survive this, but
well,
of course,
I think that was the hope, right? By getting away from the mine, that would save him, but didn't work.
Yeah, he gets.
It was like a real big gamble because it. It was the only real choice that they had because Geppetto gets pretty hurt as well.
Exactly, because he's now drifting in the water, and Pinocchio is very quick to go back to. The sprite is like, you need to send me,
get me back. Yeah.
Get me back, like right now. You have to do it. It's like, oh, you know the rules.
That's not the rules. Gotta wait.
And it's like, oh man, I need to go now. What are you gonna do? And apparently the thing is, the mechanics for his death is if you don't wait for this one to run out, the next life is your last one.
Yeah, you become mortal. Mortal. That's the trade.
That is the trade. And it's like, yeah, I don't care, but my papa is dying. I need to save him. It's like, what do I need to do? I mean, he's not super fast. He's like, what do you mean? He's like trying to understand, but after
I think what I like is that he has a little bit of like the kind of looking around. They're just like
exactly.
His mind is racing and there's a little bit of hesitation. It's like, no, I got to go back. And then it's like, well, how do I do it? And she's like, well, you got to break the hourglass. And again, another touch I like is that he raises his fist. He's about to do it, and then he pauses, hesitates for a moment, and then he resolves himself to. It's just that, it's just like he's kind of scared about all this.
Exactly.
Like he doesn't quite understand like what the consequences really will entail for him.
Yeah.
But it's all, he needs to go save Geppetto. He's got to go get him.
Exactly. Because he knows that's the right thing to do at this moment. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
He jumps down.
But it's not like an easy fix because when he jumps down, it's like he comes back, but he's seriously injured. He's lost like an arm and a leg.
Yeah. And he lost the ear. I just saw it. That's why he lost the ear.
His ear's gone. That's right. The ear is gone as he's given up like the immortality, but at the same time, it's Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's Pinocchio. It's not his son. It's his other son, a different son. It's not Carlo.
And Pinocchio has to work really hard to get Geppetto over water, over the surface.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's missing the one arm, and he only has these little twig legs. Actually, he's only one. I just realized he's only.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's really hurt. We can barely do it.
It's very. You would have to. The strain would be so immense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Also, I love this string of comments from you.
Everything sounds dirty now.
I'm trying to focus on the really important scene.
Yeah.
Because this next scene is so important. So enough of that. Because Pinocchio was successful. He saved Geppetto's life, but and also the cricket's okay, monkey's okay.
Yeah, they're all
Pinocchio is not.
No, Pinocchio
washes up on shore, but he's dead.
He is very dead. And that was his last life, as we just heard. So
Yeah, that's right.
he not only broke
Gave
the
his
rules
life.
to go to his last life, he immediately used it to save Geppetto.
Yep.
Which, like, ooh. That's rough.
And of course, because when he gets to him, it's like, oh, well, you know, you'll be fine, right? Like, it's like last time, you'll be okay. You'll just wake up again, because that's what you do. But he doesn't know yet about the... He doesn't know about the choice that Pinocchio made.
Yeah. Because he just
And
knows
it's just
at some point he
you
might
know,
come back, but no.
At this point, he's saying all of the things that he means, like, which feels very appropriate. That when Pinocchio is dead, he says all of the things he needs to say, like that, you know, like, Pinocchio, my son, like, I need you. All of these things that he should have said to him while he was still alive, but now it's too late.
Yeah, it's just like
feels quite appropriate.
Yeah, you just need to be Pinocchio. I don't need you to be Carlo. It's just I need you. You're perfect as you are, basically. Like this is
exactly.
I just want you back.
But it's too late.
Yeah, he's dead. He sacrificed himself to save this lonely old man because he was there to make him happy.
Yeah.
As the sprite said, and then the sprite appears. It's like I sent him to give you joy, and it's like, oh, you gave me joy. Horrible joy, I think was the line.
I really like that line.
It's like
really like it.
That's a
terrible joy. Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, it's just in keeping with what Faye said to Kratos, right? To grieve deeply is to have loved fully.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like it's along similar lines.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of what joy. It's kind of like the end of joy. Like the consequence of joy is that when you lose the thing that gives you joy, it's absolutely horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's just he begs like, please bring him back to me, and it's like real boys don't come back because Pinocchio was a real boy. He always was. Yeah. Like in terms of the actual mechanics, it's like, well, yeah, he became mortal in order to save. His life, but the reality was that he was always a real boy. He always had a good heart the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah, it's like the real boys don't come back, and I think he even says like, "Yeah, I know." But then Chekhov's wish is fully loaded. It's it's in the chamber now. And Sebastian's like, hey, you promised me one wish when I make sure he's becoming a good boy. And it's like, well, did you succeed? It's like, I don't know. Maybe I fucked up here and there. Maybe I wasn't the best one, but I made him do the best he can, and that's all he could have done.
Yeah.
And
what's that line?
While I tried to teach him something, he just taught it right back at me, and I learned a lot of things from that Pinocchio, and because he's a good boy. He's a good boy. And yeah. She's like, fine. What's your wish? You did good. What's your wish? He's like, well, bring Pinocchio back to life. And he's like, very well. And yeah, he got his wish. He didn't use the wish for himself, not for his book, not for his fame and fortune. He just made sure that the Pinocchio boy is okay, and they can all live a happy life together.
What's what he said? You get what you give.
You get what you give.
And Pinocchio gave his life, so he gets it back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He gets. And essentially he earns it, by virtue of being such a great person.
Yeah.
Such a just like kind and altruistic, good intentioned. Like he's just and then it's here that we basically get Geppetto saying like, don't be like Carlo, don't be like anybody else, be exactly who you are. And he says, I love you, and it's like or I love you exactly as you are. Yeah. This is the scene. This whole scene. This is the one that got me.
Oh yeah.
It's a very sad scene. But it's a very touching scene as well. Absolutely. Especially since we do get the happy ending But just watching him there, like weeping over the loss of his son, that he didn't even fully before didn't fully appreciate for who he was. It's just like, oh, yeah, that's
yeah, that hits you in the
hits
that's
you
feels.
right
that's some
where you
powerful
live.
stuff. That's some it's
Yeah.
and it's just like in terms of everything full circle, because it's something that's been said like consistently in the film, the running theme, if there's any of them, because there's been a few, right? Like about where does the value in life derive from. But like the core theme would be like, you are enough as you are. It's not about being forced to become something else or feeling pressured to become something else. That it's just like what and broadly speaking, like this is enough, right? I think even Geppetto says, like, after he says then I will be Pinocchio, he says that will do. It's kind of like an acceptance of his life as it is right now. Carlo's gone and he'll never get him back, but he's got Pinocchio, and that already, that in and of itself is good enough. And like you could say, like, broadly in terms of like accepting one's circumstances in life. Not like, I guess, passively accepting just like horrible circumstances, but more so like we saw with like the pine cone, right? That it's not exactly perfect. It's not exactly what you wanted, maybe. But like that's kind of a stupid way of looking at things. Like, if you have something and it's valuable and it's good, that should be enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I really love this payoff.
Yeah, it's
The scene is
very good.
great.
Same here. Yeah, it's just yeah, I was just I didn't write many notes for it except for why must you make me cry tears, like, because it was just such a it just hit me right where I live. It hit me right where I live.
It's so
It was,
wholesome as well.
oh yeah,
Just,
absolutely.
like it's just this story of many stories of this old man who suffered a great tragedy coming to rediscover joy, and he
Yeah.
rediscovers that joy through a new son, a different son, not a replacement for Carlo, someone else who can like fill his life with joy as well. And then it's like a whole family at this point, because they've got the monkey
Yeah.
and
The cricket.
Sebastian J. Cricket as well.
Yeah.
It's like this totally new dynamic, and all of their lives have been changed for the better because of Pinocchio. That's like the core. All of their lives are better for Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Geppetto
Absolutely.
finally rediscovered like a will to live
Yeah.
and a love of life because of him. And of course, the monkey was saved from like this very cynical, painful
Yes.
life because Pinocchio had compassion for him. And Sebastian J. Cricket had a newfound sense of perspective through Pinocchio about like what it means to be good and what it means to like lead a good life, essentially. It's really cool. It ties itself up very neatly here.
Yeah. It's very good. All comes together very nicely, and
they all go home and live together. But
yeah.
of course, everybody's getting old, and because it's a reset now. Pinocchio's back to being the immortal.
Exactly.
But
So
they
they
go
all,
home and live their peaceful lives. But everybody passes after some time.
yeah.
I said, I mean, they're living there like playing chess, writing stuff, because of course the cricket is writing the new book about Pinocchio.
Right.
But Geppetto eventually passes away.
Yeah.
And then the cricket eventually passes
Sebastian
away.
just gets found on
Yeah.
on the window, just lying
Not
there
moving anymore.
motionless. And Pinocchio doesn't bury him. He just puts him in his back in his heart in a little matchbox.
But he'll always be there because
always
he
be
endures
there.
with him, right? Obviously, symbolically,
Exactly,
that
yeah.
he'll endure with him forever. In a little
Yeah.
matchbox that has the rabbit on it
The
too,
rabbit on it,
the
yeah,
death
yeah.
rabbit. And then yeah, we even see the monkey's got like a little walking stick. He's walking the mountain to the hill. But then it's just, there's the set of graves now that you've got Carlo, Geppetto, and Spazzatura sitting there together.
Yeah, they're all just on there. And it's like a thing where Sebastian, we basically learn he's been narrating for us from the afterlife, basically.
From the afterlife, yeah.
And
Yeah.
And then he says that like
Yeah.
he didn't get to see, whether or not the world accepted and loved Pinocchio,
yeah,
but he believes that the world because Pinocchio embraced the world, and he believed that the world embraced him back.
embrace him back.
And I think you can even see that reflected in just the way that he looks at the graves. Like, he's obviously sad, but it's sad with like a level of, oh, but man, like the fact that I got to, have a life with these people, like that's
Yeah.
really, because he lets out like a little sigh. It's just his attitude is like relentlessly positive.
Absolutely.
That even though, the family's gone and he's on his own, unlike what happened to Geppetto, where it just destroyed him and it prevented him from moving on with life, Pinocchio just ventures out into the world.
And they even ask the question,
And then-
will he eventually die? And he says like, yeah, probably, and that will make him a real boy.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah,
it's like,
as it pans up to the pine cone
Yeah.
falling from the tree.
yeah, and I think he
Yeah.
even says like, and then it's gone. I think that's the last.
What happens, then
happens,
it's gone.
Then it's
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Which is just, that's life.
Yeah. Pretty
Pretty
much.
much.
Yeah.
Summarized in one sentence. Of course, there's the saying, what, life is shit, life's a bitch, and then you die. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to look at it a little bit more negatively.
That's the most cynical
it's just,
version of that. Yeah.
What happens,
Yeah.
happens, and we're gone. And really, what is super important in determining the value of that life to an individual is simply their perspective on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like Pinocchio just had the attitude of, well, I'm happy to be here. And like, that was enough. And
Yeah.
thanks to him, that was enough for everybody else too.
Oh shit! There's a scene after the.
Yes, there is.
I didn't
They're
see
playing
that.
cards.
They're playing cards.
Yeah,
Sebastian and the
Cricket's
bunnies
playing cards with
Oh, that's
the
cool.
buddies in the afterlife.
That's so
yeah.
nice. Look at this.
And then he finally gets to sing his song.
He sings his song, yeah,
Oh.
finally.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Song that he tried to sing every single time. And that's where you have the cool part of the film where they do the billing for the animators alongside like the producers and the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was
Speaking
something
of
that he prided
cool,
himself on. Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. Speaking of, there's a little cool thing I didn't actually get around to mentioning because I forgot. Well, there's kind of two things. One of the neat little details in the interiors is that they intentionally coal stained them because the main power source at this time would be coal. So they figured it would make sense that everything would be kind of stained with coal everywhere. So that was a neat little touch for the set dressing. The second one is the soundtrack only uses wooden instruments.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? It only uses woodwind instruments.
Well, instruments made of wood. So there's some violas and stuff in there, but there's no
Oh,
there's
yeah,
no
I
other
see,
kind
right.
of, yeah, so only wooden instruments.
Well, that's really
and-
neat, and nobody would notice that. So the fact that
Yeah.
they did it is cool.
Yeah, exactly. I love shit like that.
That's cool stuff. That is cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty.
Look at him, Sebastian, going for a dance, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end. And yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it is. I need to rewatch it in one go at some point without being interrupted all the time because I think I would have
Yeah, I'd
appreciated
recommend it.
definitely way more.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just talking about it now, it's just like, yeah, this is good shit. This is really good shit. Yeah, it's just much more adult.
Yeah, this one is
thing to
definitely
see.
when
It's-
Del Toro talks about it being like a medium rather than like a genre. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
definitely feels like. I mean, it shows right in the film. This is not like a kids movie. This is an anybody movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's can definitely also fuck you up at times depending on what your mood is.
It's a very emotionally heady
Yeah.
movie, but like I said, I appreciate and respect it for that
Yeah, I mean,
because
I'm
I just
all
really
for
like
that.
it at its core.
It doesn't all need to be
Just-
haha funny. It can have some serious stuff once in a while, and I'm all for it. It's,
I just really love the story of this old broken man rediscovering his joy for life through this wooden boy, like this little toy kid who just embraces life and loves life, and that like through that, and it takes him some time and it's difficult, he eventually comes to appreciate Pinocchio as like his son, and not a replacement for his son, but just another son who can
Yeah.
enrich his life. It's a It's a story with a very sad beginning and a very happy ending. I really, really like that story, along with a bunch of the other stories that were running concurrently.
Yeah.
It's it's good stuff. Big old recommend from all of us.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't
really,
see
really good.
why anybody would dislike it. I don't see how they could.
Yeah.
I don't see how even if you didn't like the story, which I don't know how that happens, that you wouldn't just appreciate how charming it is.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's almost a curiosity to seek out negative reviews just to see what the hell anyone could actually have a problem with.
What could they possibly say about that they would be like, yeah, this film sucks? I don't see it. I don't see how that's the case. Because like I think it's pretty great, and and of course, in talking about animated films, if it were either this or Puss in Boots, I'd be happy.
Yeah,
I could see it going. Though I will say, I get the impression actually that it'll probably be Pinocchio. I think that one will win. I think because I don't know why. I think I just get the sense that if one was going to be chosen, it would be Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's definitely feels like that sort of the film. I remember on Twitter someone was like, "Oh no, Turning Red needs to win," and it's like, "Oh no!"
Of all of the, so I've seen 4 out of 5 of the films on that list. I might actually check the 5th one out just to because the one of them was the Sea Beast as well. Of the 4 films I've watched, I would be happier with any of those other 3 films winning over Turning Red. Turning Red is like pretty deficient. That film is like pretty flawed. Whereas like I thought the Sea Beast was pretty solid, and obviously I think that Puss in Boots 2 and Pinocchio are pretty great. So yeah, I would be pretty unhappy, and I don't think that's gonna happen. It's got to be between Pinocchio and Puss in Boots, or maybe it will be that other movie that I haven't seen yet. I should throw it on the list.
Well, animated feature film is what we're looking for, I guess.
Best animated, at the Academy Awards, yeah.
Yeah, we have animated feature film and...
and also, by the way, again, this is another instance where it's like, it is immensely annoying that it is just assumed by default that, like, an animated film will not get nominated for Best Picture. Avatar: The Way of Water got nominated for Best Picture over this.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We have these really cool things. I mean, hey, Avatar is really impressive technically, but man,
yeah, technically, but look,
Best Picture, like, come on.
No,
Best Picture.
No.
That's what I mean. It's like, come on, man. Like,
give animation some fucking props, man.
It's just
so
animated films they only get nominated for Best Animated Film, and if they ever get nominated for anything else, the 3 times it's ever happened, it's for Best Picture. They never get nominated for sound design or soundtrack, which you think about, like, all of the stuff that was composed for, like, all of the Pixar films by oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. Who? Damn it. Hold on. I know his name. I can't believe I've forgotten it now. Randy Newman? Isn't that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, Randy Newman. Yeah, that's right. Randy Newman. Like, he never got nominated for anything, right? Best screenplay? Never. That never happens. It's just like, yeah, you get nominated for the animated one, but, like, you don't get to play with, like, you don't get to be a part of the, because I mean, there was no nomination either for, like, Best Director for Guillermo del Toro either. He's not.
What a shame.
And of course,
from what I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but apparently they created the Best Animated Picture category just so they could relegate things there. I think it was like after Beauty and the Beast came out or something. I don't know how much truth there is in that.
But... Best Animated Film, the first year was 2001, so that was the year that Shrek won the first one. It beat out Monsters, Inc.
Oh, okay.
Because there were only been 3 animated films that have ever been nominated for best film. Which, by the way, 2 out of 3 I don't even think should have been nominated for that. Because Beauty and the Beast was one, which I think that's a fair choice. And then the other ones were Up, which I think the Up is overrated, especially when you think about the fact that all the films that came before it didn't get nominated, and then it was Up. It's like, and Toy Story 3, it's like,
Ew,
like WALL-E never got nominated, Incredibles, Ratatouille, Monsters Inc., none of those, Finding Nemo, none of those got nominated for Best Picture. Yeah.
Land
and
Before
there's
Time.
been nothing ever since.
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
think Spirited Away. Spirited Away didn't get nominated for Best Picture. It won
No,
for
there's
Best Animated Film, but like it didn't get nominated for Best Picture because that's just how it works.
It's a real damn shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just they get relegated to that category for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, it's
I don't
stupid.
understand it. I don't get it.
So they
Yeah.
pretend they don't have any
Yeah.
stories or anything.
And something that's really lame again is
really...
even within the confines of that category, it's always Disney and Pixar for the most part. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty rare when it's somebody that isn't Disney or Pixar. I'm pretty sure that Into the Spider-Verse was the first time in like 12 years that a non-Pixar film a non-Pixar film won when Pixar wasn't, like, when a Pixar film was nominated in that category.
Yeah.
Like that's how long it had been, or the longest time that it was a non-Pixar, non-Disney film, because yeah, like you look at this, it's like Shrek, Spirited Away, those aren't Disney, and then it was Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and then Wallace and Gromit, but there was no Pixar or Disney Animation Studios movie in the category. And then Happy Feet beat Cars and Monster House, and it was like Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3, and then Rango. It's like, but again, there was no Pixar film that year. And then Brave beating out The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists. I don't know about that one, Chief. And then yeah, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Inside Out. That film's super overrated. Zootopia, Coco, and then it was Into the Spider-Verse. It's like, yeah, it's just even within that category, Pixar is incredibly dominant. Pixar and Disney.
Yeah.
But 2022 has not been a great year for Pixar and Disney.
No.
The films have not been that well received, and a lot of them have lost money. So maybe this is the year that, you know, somebody who's not Pixar can come along and finally win an award again. Because it's been 4 years since Into the Spider-Verse. Every other one's been a Disney one. Because Soul won over Wolfwalkers, which I've heard, because I haven't seen Soul, I've heard that Soul ain't that good. I've heard that it's actually kind of lame. Well, I remember that when the trailer first came out for that film, it's like, oh wow, look, it's like a Pixar film in this really unique style, following this, you know, jazz teacher who wants to play professionally. And then as soon as he dies, it's like, oh, now we're back to like the standard, like, cutesy style. It's like, oh damn, like you had me there right at the beginning of this really cool premise, and then you're like, nope, back to standard stuff. Yeah,
lame.
Yeah.
Sorry about the rant about the underappreciation of animation, but I feel like Pinocchio is one of those films that kind of just emphasizes how lame that really is.
Yeah.
Like, look at the amount of
I think it's a worthy rant.
put into every frame of that movie.
Yeah.
Very
good.
But hey, you know what? You should go watch it.
Absolutely.
It's good. It's really good.
It's really good. Thoughts on the movie
absolutely.
Elemental coming in 2023? I've seen one trailer. I don't know. It's nothing that looks interesting to me. It looks visually pretty cool, but I don't know what's going to be about.
I don't know. A water guy and a fire lady fall in love. Like, I don't know. Something that people have said that I find very interesting is that the premise of two people who, for whatever reason, are basically prevented from, like, being together. It may well have been a story that was presented initially as the characters being gay, but then they were too afraid, like, to let Pixar do it. That, like, it almost makes more sense, right? That it would be a fire guy and a water guy, and then there's a society that wouldn't allow or expect them to go together. But then it's like, well, you can't do that. You have to make it a heterosexual. You got to make it a hetero relationship. Right. Which, you know, when I hear that, it's like, you know what? I kind of believe that might be possible. I don't know. I just look at that film and it's like, yeah, I guess it's like, okay, the fire lady and the water guy, yep, and they love each other, and like, yeah, but they're from different worlds. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not very interesting to me. I don't know what to say. It's, yeah.
I mean, there's only been a teaser trailer, so that's all we get for now.
That's true, but conceptually, I don't find it very interesting.
I mean, that's what I mean. I saw it as like, oh, okay. Moving on.
Especially when you compare it to a retelling of Pinocchio that is, like, incredibly focused on having Pinocchio essentially be this element that comes in and out of other people's lives and they learn lessons about themselves.
Right.
And, you know, Puss in Boots too. This seemingly, you know, favorite fearless hero who is confronted with the notion of death for the first time in his life.
Yes.
And it completely shatters him. And then we deconstruct him and then build him back up again with a much more robust like center for that character. It's just like, yeah, that sounds more interesting to me than the water guy and the fire lady fall in love. But
Yeah,
look,
it's
that
ooh.
he's water and they're fire. That's not compatible. Whatever. Maybe it'll be good. Like, who knows? I'm just
Yeah.
really cynical about it all. I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
who?
animation as a medium needs to be taken a lot more seriously than it I mean, for God's sake, like when I edit the DC stuff, like when I add clips from other things to show here's how it can be better, I think you'll notice that most of them are the animated things. They like it's animation is this very, you know, fertile space that you can do so many things in, and it's just as worthy as live action, yet it's relegated for, I would say, completely arbitrary reasons, and it's bullshit.
Yeah. And where does all the resources for like animation things, like these stupid comedy shows that suck dick, like Velma and I don't know what else is out there. It's like, oh, that's where all the money for that goes. Can you put that in something where people
Well, it's
actually
just
give a shit and make some really
again,
good
'cause
stuff?
what you've highlighted there is kind of a problem that exists in the adult animation sphere too.
Right.
When it comes to like theatrical or like a lot of the time it's perceived as, oh well, that's for kids. Whereas one of the problems that it feels like adult animation has had to struggle with for a while and starting to get better and better at is adult animation means there's lots of swearing and like there's lots of crass humor.
Yeah.
Like that's what adult animation is. And then something like Arcane comes along where it's like, oh, this is like a drama. This is like
Yeah.
an animated drama that obviously
Yeah.
has, humor and jokes in it, but it is like a serialized drama. There aren't a lot of those made in the West. There's a lot of them
No.
made in Japan, but there's
Mhm.
not nearly as many of them made in the West. And it's just like, it feels like things are getting better, that we're starting, that these weird perceptions that people have about like what animation can be used for
Yeah.
is starting to change, fortunately, which is nice.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the last couple of
Yeah, I
years, they
think-
all just try to be the new Rick and Morty, while Rick and Morty is falling apart
Well,
itself.
it goes in cycles. It used to be
Yeah.
the Family Guy style, right? Like the incredibly flat, pretty like the animation's not very bouncy at all, like Family Guy style. Because that's what like that Brickleberry show was, right? It looks just like Family Guy in terms of the art style, and there was a lot of that stuff. And yeah, now for the last like 3 or 4 years, a lot of it's been the Rick and Morty style. It just comes in cycles, and then you just got to find the next big, super popular animated show, and then
Now try
that
to do
style will
that
probably
one
end
as
up getting
well.
emulated too.
Yeah, that's the cycle.
Because there are a lot of ones that did the Rick and Morty one, like that.
Oh, yeah.
That show Oops tried to do that style.
Yeah.
There's that Star Trek one, that Star Trek animated series, which I'm pretty
Farzar.
sure is like what's that? Sorry.
Farzar.
Oh yeah, the other one from those guys.
Jay
yeah.
made me watch that 3 episodes of that for a Forge. We'll never forgive Jay for that. So bad.
Oh my god.
I couldn't even show footage because there's just dicks and shit everywhere, and they think it's hilarious.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those. I feel like I was spoiled because I grew up in like the early aughts with fucking a prime your prime era Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, where there was so many different animation styles.
Ton of variety.
Yeah, you got Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, SpongeBob, Ed, Ed and Eddie,
Eddie. Yeah.
the Star Wars, Clone Wars, like the 2D one. All the DCAU was ramping up with Justice League. There's so much, and they were re-airing the old shows from the 90s, which were also had variety there. They had Looney Tunes playing as well, just to there was so much, and there was old and new Tom and Jerry's, and now it feels so samey now. I feel like it's only starting to one positive trend I think I will highlight is that for the longest time, it felt like if you were going to be animated, you had to be you had to be below a certain length. So if you're a TV show, you had to be 20, 25-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes. Or if you're a movie, you have to be at a maximum of 90 minutes. Now we have things that are going over 90 minutes, like Pinocchio was 2 hours. We have, shows like Arcane and Invincible that have episodes that go for like 40 to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's more. There are conventions that are being broken, which I think has positive potential, to be sure. Still a lot of shit going around though, but I will highlight that as like something it was kind of a relief when I saw Arcane and Invincible had much longer run times than I would ever expect for an animated show. So hopefully we get more stuff in that direction. Just breaking free of the confines and moving forward.
Heck yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, ran over.
It's all good. Let's do the couple of super chats here real quick, and then I won't prevent you from playing Dead Space anymore. But yeah, let's see. I cried during this movie. It moved my heart. Yeah, I can totally see that. That can make you do the big cry for shizzle. I mean, I had the feels in the chest for sure. Didn't get me to the tears, but yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful stuff. Very potent. Metul, if you enjoyed this, check out the 2012 Spanish stop-motion movie The Apostle on YouTube. The creators put it up as an FU to the distributors. Really? Okay. Never heard of it. Maybe I'll check it out someday. Sure. And this is the last one already. We got just a hi Mootle. Hello. What's up? Just talking about Pinocchio. It's good stuff. Yeah, that does it for today, I guess. This is, I definitely appreciate the movie more now, and I kind of want to rewatch it at some point, and go in there with the refreshed mind. Not very lucrative super chats in it. Time for a DSP rant.
$5 a month. They're yelling it at the microphone as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that was
snort.
There we go.
Chill out, all right.
Oh god, it's like oh, there's not enough tips.
People don't respect me as a content creator.
I just like the fact that you just stream. It's like if I don't reach that tip goal, I'm gonna stop the stream. It's like, yeah, go.
Wings kind of does that too, I think, where like he'll switch the game that he's playing if he's not getting enough money or viewers. Like I don't know if he still does it because I don't know if he still plays that game. But when it was Rainbow Six, it would be like he wanted to play Rainbow Six, but he got more views while playing Call of Duty, which, as you all know, Call of Duty, as far as he's concerned, is a game that ruined his life. So
yeah, he doesn't want to play it, but it's the one that makes him money.
Well, because Call of Duty was the beginning of the end. It was that one-on-one against Syndicate. That was the beginning of the end for Wings of Redemption.
I rewatched that video about it not too long ago. It's
the Down the Rabbit Hole one. Yeah.
Oh, it's insane. It's crazy.
It's just all encompassing. It's kind of interesting as well though, because it's just like just playing Call of Duty, and then it's like, wait, Wings, like, what happened? I broke my controller. It's like, you broke your controller, and then like you just hear him in the background, just like throwing stuff around. It's just like, all you needed to do was just go like, yeah, good game, my dude, and then he would have been fine.
Nobody would have cared, but no, you had your big ass ego. This guy, like, nah. Make Jay show you Adventure Time. Maybe I will. I need to watch that. I've never watched it.
Have you seen any Adventure Time?
No, only clips that I'm pretty sure mutually sent me. It's like, I hate
It's a cool show. It's a cool show, yeah.
Hey, we meme a lot about Super Chat and stuff. Honestly, though, pretty appreciate all the Super Chats, everybody watching, doing the memberships and stuff. That's one of the reasons why I could just, hit the trigger on that new GPU so I can stream Dead Space is the name coming Monday. So that absolutely helps out great. Just watching the forges, as I said, the Avatar one, 25,000 views. It's like, okay, I didn't expect that to happen. And then the one from last week, like 10K views, I think now, was pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty nutty numbers to me. I mean, just a couple of months ago, it was just like 1,000 was more. So 1,000 was a lot, which it still is to me. So yeah, thank you for enjoying, and thanks for becoming a flim flam ultimate fatty. Thank you very much.
Yeah. My favorite part of Dead Space is when the necromorph appeared and went, "It's necromorphin timed," and then attacked.
Yeah, that's my favorite part
I
too.
don't think that happened.
You don't know that.
You know,
It's new in the remake.
it happened in my brain.
They were copying Sony. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me, you two. It was fun once again. What's going on with you guys? Got anything to plug, Roonies? Anything going on?
Not really. I'm just working.
Yeah.
That's all. But yeah.
The boulder slipped down the hill again. So Kevin Conroy's stream hopefully this week. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, yes. Gritted teeth.
It'll happen eventually, and it's gonna be glorious. So go watch that. All the links are down below. I'm pretty sure Fringy is gonna be streaming Dead Space here in a bit. Over on the.
In a bit, yeah. I might actually take a break though. Maybe go for a walk or something.
Yeah, I gonna take a nap, I think.
On the Twitch. Yeah, as for me, I'm gonna be starting my playthrough offline. I have to wait for that GPU because, as it stands now, I don't have any resources left to actually stream. I can play it fine-ish, so I can at least get that going. But yeah, I have a new GPU on the way. I'm not as excited for it because it wasn't planned, and I just have to, had to spend that money, which I didn't plan to. So it's not as fun as to spend cash that you don't want to spend, really, because the prices are way too high. But it had to happen eventually, and it's an investment for the channel. So you can get more Strumbles from me, and I don't run into the same problem with the other games I want to stream and cover on the Forges. So yeah, again, thanks for super chatting, watching, memberships and stuff, subscribing. But yeah.
Happy birthday, Metal.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna be. Hopefully everything goes good on Monday, so I'll be able to stream my New Game Plus at least. And other than that, yeah, I'm just gonna be prepping for the next Forge, which is gonna be with John CJG. I coaxed him in for the Dead Space one, so that should be fun. And on that same weekend is my actual birthday on the Sunday, so you'll see all the massives coming around, playing stuff, having some drinks and fun and all the things. So be there for that. It's going to be Gartic Phone shenanigans galore. The meme blender is going to be there, so it can only be good.
Yeah, I'm going to draw that blowhole again.
That's going to be blowholes galore, if you will. But yeah, you have that to look forward to. And yeah, more Forges, more things. I'm working on video, as I said. I'm putting myself on a pretty grueling schedule this year, but you know what? I'm just hoping it's gonna pay out, and you guys just enjoy it because I enjoy doing it. And as long as people are gonna watch, I'm not gonna stop. So there you go. It's basically your fault, Chad. So feel that how you will. Anyway. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the super chats. And yeah, we'll catch you all in the next one. See you around.
Bye.
Bye. I.
Yes.